Okay. I like the looking for a game to capture part every time. We back, baby. We are back. Baby back ribs. From Thank God It's Friday. Right, we were gonna talk to you. I like just the gumshoe jump scare. Hello, you're talking to me now. How are you doing today? All right. Yeah. Okay. I'm okay with that. Okie dokie. All right. Let's talk to this man. Hello, sir. Well, I don't even remember what we were talking about before this, but we're just gonna roll with it, Gumshoe. But why would Edgeworth be blamed? It's not like he knew the evidence was forged. Lana Sky's the guilty party here, isn't she? Regardless, a prosecutor is responsible for the evidence they present in court. Not only that, but as you know, there have been a lot of rumors going around about Mr. Edgeworth. His amazing talent as a prosecutor has kept him safe from those who don't like him. But now with this, are there really so many people who hate him? Why'd the music all of a sudden get louder really randomly? In our world, only those with talent rise to the top. Mr. Edgeworth not only has that, but he's young. There's no better recipe I know of for making enemies. Hey Dick, keep up the good work. Yes sir. Let's go out for lunch again sometime, my treat. Yes sir. You gotta take me back to that joint sometime, okay Dick? Yes sir. Seems you don't have any problems with enemies. Yeah, well, I'm careful not to stick out. Anyway, I'm a bit worried about him. Under all this pressure, I'm afraid Mr. Edgeworth just might crack. You know, I just realized that Gumshoe's real name is probably Richard. Probably not Dick. Because Dick is short for Richard. Actually, I took a look at the file earlier while the coffee was brewing. He seems genuinely concerned for Edgeworth. Well, did you find out anything? The only evidence Dark left behind was during his final attack. His final attack, you mean? When he killed Prosecutor Marshall, who was trying to protect some girl. Who girl? Me. Seems Detective Gumshoe never realized Emma was the girl. That's when he left the most incriminating evidence of all. Well, what was it? Oh, let's see. I think it has something to do with the murder weapon. Oh, I forget. Look, it's all written somewhere in here, okay? His powers of recollection never fail to impress. Maybe we should show him the murder weapon. Might jog his memory. Alright. I'll do this first, though. Joe Dark was 42 at the time of the crime. He was just your run-of-the-mill businessman. A businessman. What made him take to serial killing? One day on his way home from work, he hit someone with his car. With his car? So it was an accident? An accident, yes, but it transformed him into an animal. He was like, wow, man, seeing their body just fling over the windshield. That's awesome. He killed the man that witnessed the accident. Then he killed the lady who saw a second crime. A kid walked by just then, so he killed him too. Then when he was okay, a jogger came upon the scene and was killed as well. Finally, he turned himself in. Seems he was a pretty careless animal. Of course, this is all conjecture. There wasn't a single shred of evidence. So he turned himself in. Yes, but in the middle of his questioning, he fled and murdered his final victim, Prosecutor Marshall. That crime was witnessed by someone too, but luckily Dark was arrested on the spot. It's a good thing that last witness wasn't killed. That last witness is standing right here. Alright, show him the murder weapon. So I assume they are talking about the Kniffy. How about this? Hey, it has a tag attached to it with the label SL9 incident on it. I believe this would be the broken murder weapon you were speaking of. What are you doing with that? Oh, I'm gonna stab you with it now. Ever since that case was closed, that knife's been locked away in a locker. On the day Detective Goodman was murdered, this suddenly appeared from the locker and was found in Mr. Edgeworth's car muffler. That's it. I don't remember what that incriminating piece of evidence was. When you showed me that knife, it all came back to me. Well, what is it, Detective? Quick, before you forget again. This knife, it was Joe Dark's, wasn't it? That's right, we traced it back to the store he bought it at, plus it had his fingerprints on it too. But no one actually witnessed him using it to murder anyone, right? That's where his luck ran out. When you take a good look at the knife, you'll see it's broken. Yes, I can see that. Yo, we're back. Yeah, what's up, William? You don't have to take a good look to notice that. Yeah, well, anyway, take a guess where the broken off tip of the knife was found. That's what did him in. Where was it? Well, it was probably inside Neil. The victim, Neil Marshall, was carrying it, inside his own body. It was found deep inside the stab wound. Did it match Dark's knife? You bet. Down to the last fiber. That's pretty conclusive. Stabbed in the back, died from punctured heart and lung. A knife tip was in the wound. Wait, died from punctured heart and lung? In that picture we saw earlier, wasn't he lying face down with the knife in his right side? Your heart is not on your right side. What the fuck did you just type in my chat, Henry? Don't put a smiley face. Or a, what is that? Just the letter D? What did you... What, You know what? We're going to gloss over that one. It is a smiley face? Yeah, well... Your smiley face is not going to save you from whatever the fuck you just typed in my chat. This broken tip was found in the victim's body. Belonged to the murderer, the Dark. Well, there you have it in a nutshell. That's all I know. Can I ask you one more thing? What is it? If it's money you need, you should ask Chief Gant. Yeah, he'll give you $50. Just spaced out. I didn't want it to. Oh, okay. Okay, can we get into Chief Gant's, but it does concern the Chief. His office is a crime scene, right? It's where Prosecutor Neil Marshall was murdered. The Chief's out now and his office is locked, but we'd like to have a look around if that's okay. Well, any detective ID's card can unlock the door. What, really? But if I let a civilian in there, I'd be charged with breach of trust. Breach of trust? Simply put, I'd be canned. Oh, sorry, pal. I don't plan on getting fired because of you. How about this ID card? It was Detective Goodman's. That won't work either. The data was deleted the day he died. Oh. So in other words, gumshoes are our only chance of getting into that office. Wonder if there's something we could show him that would make him change his mind. Alright. Blue Badger, go! This guy almost made us lose the case today. What are you talking about? He was guarding the bloodstain on that evidence locker with his life. That's more than you can say about most officers nowadays. It would have saved us a lot of trouble if he hadn't guarded it so well. I have to admit he's right though. Thanks to the Blue Badger, we were able to prove another possibility today. The possibility that another murder took place prior to 5:15. Hold on. This'll make him open up for me. Listen, you don't open up, you get the spray. Also, your chief is gonna get the spray over here. All right, I'm assuming we don't have what we need to get him to open up the chief's door for us. If you look at this picture, that vase is in the background too. This one right here, the unstable jar, or a vase. I learned the other day that vase and vase are both correct. A vase is more expensive than a vase. I didn't know that until the other day. So you're looking at somebody's vase in their house, you say how much money it was, and they tell you it was expensive, it's actually pronounced a vase. They're two separate things, a vase and a vase. Huh? Yeah, I know, it's stupid. English language, am I right? The more you know, yeah, the more you know. Yeah, but the unstable jar is in the background of this picture. Well, I don't think I have what I need to give him, so I'm just gonna... Oh, I guess there's no other ways I can go. English is... Yeah, English is... That's true. Yeah, there's nothing else. So I have to... Man, I don't... Maybe I do have what he wants. I guess we'll find out. Let's see. Oh, he's back. Hello. Wonder if Edgeworth is back yet. There he is. It looks like he's writing something. What are you doing here? He sure was quick to throw that paper on the floor. Tough day in court, huh? I've had to live the past 2 years with rumors flying around. What's another allegation to me? Cheer up, Mr. Edgeworth, I'm rooting for you. That's Edgeworth for you. Always trying to hide his real feelings. So what do you want? Unlike some people, I don't have all day. You know the difference between a vase and a vase? There's no excuse for what I've done. 2 years ago, I used faulty evidence to obtain a guilty verdict. That's what it all breaks down to, and nothing I can do to can erase that fact. But you didn't know, did you? I mean that the evidence was falsified. The police department and the prosecutor's office share a bond of trust. If that bond is broken, we stand to lose everything. The police department's error is my error, my responsibility as the prosecutor in charge. That fact remains the same no matter what excuses I might have. Mr. Edgeworth, I take pride in my work, so tell me why. Why has it all come to this? Because you should have become a defense attorney like your dad. Your dad is in heaven going, what the fuck, son? Even Edgeworth can't keep this kind of emotion bottled up. Are you up for the trial tomorrow? First, last year's trial, and now this one. It seems all you do is worry about me. To be honest, you're getting on my nerves. But Mr. Edgeworth, you can't just walk out on the trial. Edgy boy's dad like, bro, what the fuck? Tomorrow's the last day. It's too late to change prosecutors. I'll bet that's what my superiors are banking on. I never thought that case would come back to haunt me like this. What do you mean? The list of evidence seems too short. Most lists run twice as long. It's only half as long as most lists. That is odd. After Neil Marshall was murdered, I became prosecutor for that case. I may not have been part of the investigation, but I knew what I had to do. Use the evidence I was given to prove the suspect guilty. That was really the only thing on my mind at the time. Say we just saw a picture taken around that time. There's a comma there. Say, we just saw a picture taken around that time. That picture. Something seems strange about it. I wonder if I show him the picture then. Could you tell us again about what happened that day? The day Detective Goodman was murdered. You were participating in a ceremony over at the station, right? I've never cared for ceremonies, but I had to attend that one. Because you were awarded this. Those receiving awards can't exactly skip out on a ceremony. Yes, they can. Just mail order it to me, alright? I finished up at the office in the morning, then drove over to the police department. You finished up at the office. Yes, just odds and ends, clerical stuff. I didn't plan on returning to the office that day. That is, until I was asked to take something back. Take something back? This. Oh yeah, Chief Gant asked you to hold on to that, didn't he? Yes, it was a piece of evidence in a case that was closed half a year ago. He asked me to bring it back to the prosecutor's office. That's the story we heard yesterday. So you came back here to the prosecutor's office because the chief asked you to. That's right. I assume that's when we got this parking stub then. If he was told to come back to the prosecutor's office to deliver this. Evidence from past case Edwards brought back to his office by Gant's request. I just want to know how he would use this as evidence. The tag says A116. What's that got to do with anything? Nothing, apparently. At least that's what Edgeworth said. That makes it seem all the more suspicious. Who knows? This might turn out to be the clue that breaks the case. Wouldn't that be nice? Alright, I'm assuming I'm showing him this picture. This picture was hanging on the wall in Chief Gant's office. The prosecutor, Neil Marshall. He had just started making a name for himself. Then he got murdered. Looks like this was taken when he received the King of Prosecutors trophy. Although the trophy is different in this picture. Speaking of that, there's something that bothers me. Yes, the trophy Mr. Marshall is holding. It's a little different than yours. Yes, you're right. I remember now. Remember what? That was what the official prosecutor's trophy looked like until 2 years ago. Oh, suspicious, 2 years ago. There's a story behind its design. A story? Sounds interesting. Would you mind telling it to us? It's simple, really. Contradiction. That's what the award's based on. See, did that open a new dialogue? Yes. This award originates from an ancient Chinese tale. In Chinese, the word contradiction is written with 2 characters. The first means halberd, and the second means shield. Have you heard this story? I don't think you know what a halberd is. That is a long fucking axe-like weapon, not a little sword like this. I don't know what you want from me, man. That's not what a halberd is, but okay. Me? Oh, sure, everyone knows that. Why don't you tell it, though? For Emma's sake. Very well. Oh, here we go. All right. Long ago, in the kingdom of Chu, there was an arms merchant. One day, he presented the king with 2 items. The first was a halberd he claimed could slice through any shield or armor. The second was a shield he claimed could withstand any weapon. Wait a minute. Objection! Why am I yelling objection at Edgeworth right now? Why is the music getting so... Why is the cross-examination music playing? Why is this music playing? Why is any of the music playing? Those claims contradict each other. Very perceptive. But then again, you've heard this story before, right? Anyway, as you mentioned, the very description of these items discredit them both. When the king pointed this out, the merchant was left speechless, and thus the Chinese word for contradiction was born. Oh, I see. So the chipped shield and the broken knife symbolize... Precisely so. They symbolize the merchant's items. The ancient tale ends with the merchant at a loss for words, but it's in our nature to pursue matters to their conclusion, even if it results in something as ugly as this. I wonder if that's true. Is that true? Did he actually give us some history that's real about, like, ancient Chinese culture and how the word contradiction came about? Or did they just conveniently make that up? Maybe. I don't plan on looking it up. Even if it results in something as ugly as this. Wow, thanks, Mr. Edgeworth. I learned something new today. That's funny. If that's so, why were you only given a shield? Because they're telling you, become a defense attorney. Shield. You'll have to ask Chief Gant. 2 years ago, he had the halberd part of the award abolished. Chief Gant, King of Prosecutors Trophy updated in court record. But you know what I am going to look up, though? I'm going to look up what a halberd looks like. Halberd. It's a fucking axe. It's literally like a big axe thing. Sure, it's got a pointy part on the end, but it's not just a long spear. I don't think Phoenix Wright knows what a halberd is. Why is anime the next thing that comes up? Oh, now I'm looking at halberds in different animes. Okay, this is awesome. Glad I did that. I don't know, man. I'm assuming that's all I need from you. Peace out, brother. Oh, there's someone near now. Excuse me. Oh, great. Who's this gonna be? Oh, no, I don't want to see you. What? Would either of you care for a quarter pound of roast beef? Is it cooked or not cooked? Because to be honest, if it's not cooked, you can do a lot with a quarter pound of roast beef. Miss Star, I guess she's out of lunches. You certainly are the curious sort, aren't you? Kind of like the first person who sucked a cow's nipple to discover milk. What the fuck did you just say? Still, I never thought you'd go digging up that case from 2 years ago. Everyone in this trial was involved in the SL9 incident. Not only that, but the murder occurred on the very day that evidence from that case was due for transferal. This can't be attributed to mere coincidence. Aren't you forgetting something? You know that little scene I happened to witness? The instant Lana stabbed Detective Goodman with a knife. No matter how much of the past you dig up, it won't change what I saw. Roast beef is meant to be savored when eaten. What the f... Miss Star's hatred toward Lana. It all dates back to 2 years ago. I'm pretty sure this is a case where we literally don't win. I'm gonna be honest. Like, we win, but at the same time we don't win. I don't know. I'm trying to remember. Joe Dark, that's the name I'll not soon forget. Nice coat you had back then. And what's up with the weird beret you're wearing? We trailed him for half a year. Oh, the pressure. We trailed him for half a year. That's interesting. The only reason I say that is because Gumshoe said he killed like 5 people quick succession, and then he was just gone for half a year? And then he turned himself in? It wasn't even he, like, earlier we heard somebody say that they brought Dark in for questioning, but Gumshoe said that he turned himself in. So what's real? Still, I don't think I was ever more alive than I was then. Those days were steamier than a bowl of hot gravy. Poor old Jake Marshall, though, must have been going through hell. You mean because of his brother's death? They were close, those two. After Neil died, something took over Jake. He became obsessed. Seeing Jake like that made her all the more desperate. Her. Lana Skye. My sister. The best of the best were put on that SL9 case. Of course, they were led by that legendary duo. Lana and Chief Gant. Chief Gant kind of looks normal in this picture. He's wearing, you know, a nice suit and tie. Lana looks like a fucking Final Fantasy character right now. I don't know what's up with her outfit and her whole behind the shoulder look she's giving the camera, but it's kind of all right. That legendary pair was the reason we were able to keep up our investigation. That's why we were so shocked over how it turned out. True. You mean with the forging of the evidence? Don't get me wrong, Joe Dark got what he deserved. Still, it was obvious the evidence produced in court was being manipulated. Items our team never found would suddenly appear, while other items were kept secret. But you don't have proof anything illegal was done. I'm proof enough of what happened. After that case, all of us, save Goodman, were relieved of our duties, most without even so much as an explanation. Then Lana Skye transferred to the prosecutor's office and became chief prosecutor. Lana always wanted to be a prosecutor. Nothing's quite as simple as it appears. Huh? Lana Skye was merely being used as a pawn. That's my take on the matter. She was being used. Damon Gant and Lana Skye. Here's this picture again. All right, we're going to look at this picture 18 more times. Gant led the investigation with Lana second in command. They were the best. They solved all kinds of cases together, didn't they? Damon Gant's magnetism in particular was most unreal. His magnetism. By that I mean his ability to attract evidence. He produced the most incredible evidence in the cases he handled. Incredible evidence, you mean? Oh yes, there were rumors about him even back then. No one dared confront him though. I take it she's talking about forged evidence. Back then, everyone looked up to Lana. All the detectives wanted to be like her. All the detectives wanted to fuck her or something. Really? Oh yes, myself included. I was a fool, really. Oh, you wanted to fuck Lana? Oh, that's interesting. She hated anything crooked and always watched out for the other detectives. That's why she was so concerned for Jake, Mr. Marshall. When Jake's brother was murdered, she felt as if she had lost her own brother. If it wasn't for her, I don't think Jake would ever have recovered from his shock. That's what makes it all the more infuriating. Miss Starr. That's why. I'll never be able to forgive her. Why did she have to turn so cold after that? Lana transferred to the prosecutor's office 2 years ago, didn't she? Yes, thanks to Chief Gant's powerful influence. Chief. That's right. Having solved the SL9 case, his position as chief was secured. There was only one thing left for him to control. And then no one could stand in his way. The prosecutor's office. What? You mean that's why Lana was transferred? If he can control the chief prosecutor, he can control the prosecutor's office. That must have been his goal all along. But how could he control Lana? I don't know, but one thing's for sure. Ever since that case ended, she's never been the same. It's only logical to conclude. There must have been a reason for her change. At last. I'm finally getting close to the bottom of this ugly mess. Thank you, Miss Starr. You listen to me, rookie. It takes more than just ingredients to create fine cuisine. I hope you turn out to be a better chef than I've been. Oh, slide to the right. I don't think I show you anything. Yeah, so the theory is coming together. Emma killed Neil Marshall with the sword that's in this picture you can see in front of Lana. Lana wanted to protect Emma, so ever since Damon Gant has been able to blackmail Lana. Alright, I don't think I need anything else from you. Let's see if there's just something. No, there's nothing new here. So let's go back here, see if there's anything new here. Aha! Oh, you're back. You're still here. I gotta make 150 copies of these files. Brewing coffee, copying files. I'm turning into a regular DJ. What? You're a DJ as well? As well? If I'm not mistaken, I think he means desk jockey. Yeah, not disc jockey. Are you a DJ, Emma? As well? I got to admire your persistency, but my answer's still no. I'm not letting you in the chief's office, period. It'd be my neck on the line. That office is the last crime scene in the SL9 incident. I have to take a look in there. There's got to be something we can do to make the detective change his mind. I'm sure all of these are the exact same. I seriously doubt I have all of the things too. Didn't I get this from you? I'm pretty sure I got this from you. Piercing heart and lung. Back from blood loss in under 10 minutes. Weapon found in wound was missing a tip. Man, it is really hard to read these letters. These white letters on this black screen. That is not easy to see. Wonder if I show him this. Let me share a little advice with you as a detective. If you don't have a clue, keep your trap shut. I'll keep that in mind. Sheesh. I've been studying up on those files. There's nothing wrong with Mr. Edgeworth's presentation. To think people are accusing him of injustice. I, for one, ain't buying it, pal. You're looking into the case for Mr. Edgeworth. Yeah, it was a pretty big deal while it was going on, you know. After all, the serial killer was on the loose. Alana was pretty clear in her confession. She forged evidence in order to prove Joe Dark guilty. About that jar, I think I've seen it somewhere. Or maybe it's one of those memories people have from previous lives. This must be the most uninformative detective I've ever met. Something about it makes me feel uneasy. It's like I'm in the chief's office and he's yelling at me. Chief Gant. Where could I have seen that before? You're a bitch. It's right there in the picture. Yeah, I already showed this to him. I wonder if I could check this out. Hey, look. They're hard to make out, but there's some dark red stains here. Really now? I didn't notice. Looks like blood. Did you think Detective Goodman's blood somehow got on this when he was stabbed? Not likely. This blood looks like it's been here for months, maybe longer. This jar was evidence in the SL9 incident. That might be when the blood got on it. Is there anything else I could look at on this? One of the handles is broken. Because I think it sits like this. Huh. This thing doesn't have a bottom. That's weird. I wonder which side is up. Better yet, what's the purpose of a bottomless jar? At least it doesn't collect dust inside, right? Okay. I wonder if this is something to do with how I get Gumshoe to let me into the chief's office. Because he said, I know I've seen this somewhere. It's like Chief Gant is yelling at me. Well, it used to be at Chief Gant's office. Gumshoe just sees you randomly checking out a jar. Yeah, I'm just holding it in front of him. Hold on. Wait a moment. It doesn't have a bottom, Gumshoe. Isn't that interesting? What if I give you this? He doesn't care about this. Okay. What did he say again? I think I've seen it somewhere before. Somewhere. Or maybe it's one of those memories people have from previous lives. This must be the most uninformative detective I've ever met. Something about it makes me feel uneasy. It's like I'm in the chief's office and he's yelling at me. Chief Gant. Where could I have seen that before? But he doesn't want to look at this picture. Okay. Well, let's see. Let me move back here. Hey, what's up? Because I want to go here again. What if I show you the jar? Right, please, I'm the prosecutor on this case. You don't expect me to sit here and discuss the case with you over a cup of tea. I'll pass on the tea, just tell me about the case. Mr. Wright, Mr. Edwards just told you no in a very stylish manner. Maybe if I just show him my best evidence, I could get some reaction out of him. Did I already show him this? Yeah, I did already show him that. Is he gonna tell me about the whole ass fucking Chinese story? Hey, you! Jar! Attorneys and prosecutors have no business showing evidence outside court. It's taboo, especially when the interests of both parties are involved. She really means it. Lana. Picture. Fuck. Neil's dead. Ah, okay. Really doesn't want to talk to me. And no new dialogue is opened up? No. Let's see. Can I show him something? Hey, that's it. That's the King of Prosecutors award that Mr. Edwards got the other day. Were you at the award ceremony, Detective Gumshoe? Of course, pal. I got an award for diligence myself. Let's see. We have already seen all of that, so... Yo, anybody got any ideas? I'm getting lost. I'm about to just look up the answer because I'm not fucking wandering around for another, half hour just to figure out what I'm supposed to do. Jar. Okay. I don't have anything else. The only thing I can give you now is a poppy seed rice set. Actually, I'll take that. Eat this and maybe you'll be able to tell black from white in court tomorrow. What about this? And what about this? What about the literal knife itself? Alright. Bitch ain't talking to me. I'm just gonna fucking look it up. Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney Walkthrough, Episode 5. Final day investigation. Present switchblade knife to murder weapon. Neil's autopsy report added. Move to High Prosecutor's office. I honestly forgot about that, I'm gonna be honest. I forgot they mentioned that. He threw a piece of paper on the floor. I completely forgot about that. Alright. Come on, Mr. Wright, let's take a look. Are you crazy? Edgeworth is sitting right there. Just distract him, I'll check it out. Hey, Edgeworth. Is that Detective Gumshoe at the window there? Oh no, he's falling to the ground. Hold on. First, let me see what this girl's doing. Crawling around my feet. He didn't even look. What? Letter of... If you're having trouble reading, I'll read it for you. It says letter of resignation. Resignation? Edgeworth, you don't mean? I'm tired, right? I feel as if something inside me has died. I'm pretty sure something inside you died a long time ago. But Mr. Edgeworth, none of it is your fault. I know the path I've walked. You don't need to tell me. And the path I've walked hasn't been a just one. I can't forgive myself for what I've done. And no one else should forgive me either. Uh-oh, I think he's serious. Mr. Wright, please, you have to do something. This letter of resignation. I wonder if I could use it for anything. Oh, I probably give this to Gumshoe. And then Gumshoe is gonna have a fucking mental breakdown. Hey, you! Edgeworth is thinking of retiring. What's this? Crumpled up piece of paper. He's about to lose his mind. No way! Mr. Edgeworth can't be serious. Is he ever not serious? I can't believe they've pushed him this far. Mr. Edgeworth really feels responsible. When I first met him, I thought he was as cold as ice too. Hey, that's a Foreigner song. You're as cold as ice. But I know different now. He trusted us detectives to provide him with sound evidence. But we betrayed him. Detective. That's it, I've made up my mind. But, here, take my ID card. We can't do that. If someone found out, they wouldn't let you off the hook with another lost item report. Look at me. It's no secret I'm already out of the loop. After all, I'm friends with Mr. Edgeworth. Depending on how this case turns out, I may already be as good as terminated. What? So at least let me do this. For Mr. Edgeworth's sake. Alright, detective. Thank you. Can I investigate this? Oh, it doesn't tell me what his ID number is. Let's see, maybe if I... Detective Gumshoe isn't very photogenic, is he? Yeah, he's got a very small head. Why is his body so big compared to his head? Whatever you do, just don't say that to his face. Look, his eyes are half shut. Yeah, and his mouth is half open. Hey, each of his shirt buttons is off a notch. And he's got the narrow end of his tie in the front. I think this goes beyond being a photogenic issue. You got ads again? Sorry, brother. All right. Here goes, Mr. Wright. Here we go. The fucking baseball theme again. I want to know why all of a sudden the police department became a literal chapel. Fucking look at the stained glass. Why is it like that? We're in. If anyone finds us now, Detective Gumshoe's a goner. Well, we don't need to tell him we have Detective Gumshoe's ID. And I come back to the baseball song. Every time I hear it, I just think of "Take me out to the ball game." I don't know why. Detective Gumshoe's a goner. If that happens, I'm counting on you to bail me out. Wow, I didn't know you followed us in here. Hello, sir. Eek. Gah. Oh, you slapped Gumshoe again. That's the second time you've done that, Emma. Sorry, I thought you were a ghost. I didn't even know you could slap a ghost. Ah, Detective Gumshoe. What are you doing sneaking up on us like that? All right, Phoenix is late to the party. Why'd you yell? I wasn't sneaking. I was just worried something might go wrong. So I came too. If you're here, then what's the point in giving us your ID card? Gumshoe's ID crushed and rendered unusable in pocket. Why did he crush it? Hey, don't do that to my card. What the fuck? Well, we better not leave now. We're never gonna get back in. I hardly ever get a chance to come in here, so I figured I'd have a look around myself. Besides, we're all in this together now. We're all in this together. You really do want to get fired, do you? Don't you? Not if we're lucky. Now come on, let's see what we can find out. I've got a bad feeling about this. That desk on the other side of the room, was that your sister's? Yes, that's where I was waiting for Lana, on that day 2 years ago. Is anyone using it now? No, sir. This is entirely Chief Gant's office now. He practices a strict policy of preserving the crime scene. That's a strange reason to leave it there. He leaves it as a warning to everyone else. He wants us to always be alert. Take me out to the strip club. They really should have put this case in the anime. That would have been cool. Are only the first 4 cases in the anime? I've never watched the anime. But I really should, because you've told me it's good. He leaves it as a warning to everyone else. He wants us to always be alert. Yep, okay. He told us so himself at our New Year's party. Oh, good for you. Of course, he was pretty intoxicated at the time. I see. So, ever since Lana left, no one ever touches that desk. No one except Chief Gant and the cleaning lady who's in here each morning. Still 2 years have passed since that incident. There can't possibly be any clues remaining. And the 4th one was the reason Edgeworth wanted to resign. The 4th case. That's interesting. Can I ask you something? Sure. You only came here to look around, right? Because it's one of the SL9 crime scenes? I mean, that's your only reason for coming here, isn't it? I'm gonna do some snooping. Why do you ask? You don't think? Nah. You wanna be? No. No, there's no way. Never mind. Don't worry about it. Okay, now then let's look around. Hey, hold on, not so fast, buddy. Huh, what is it? When someone tells you don't worry about it, it's supposed to start bothering you, pal. You don't just let it go at that. Sorry, this guy's starting to get on my nerves. Okay, so what's bothering you? You two don't think Chief Gant might be a suspect, do you? What? He's right, Mr. Wright. What do we think of him? Chief Gant. So it's finally come to this. He's a very tall man. What do I think of him? Perhaps it's best I don't divulge my feelings yet. There you go, ignoring me again. Alright, I want to look immediately at this. This is the real deal, isn't it? This armor and these weapons. Sure is, pal. The Chief doesn't care for imitations. First the pipe organ, now this armor. Do you know how many taxpayer dollars must have gone into this room? What? You mean we're paying for this? That's it. I'm not paying 1 cent of my taxes. There we go, Emma. That a girl? True American right there. True American. Evade taxes. Evade them. For legal reasons, that's a joke. Legal reasons, that's a joke. You don't have any taxes to pay. Emma, you're literally 16, but I fully agree. Shh, be careful what you say. Who knows? The Chief may be hiding in this armor as we speak. I don't think he'd fit in there. Even if he did, he'd never be able to get back out. Cut it out. You guys don't know how scary that guy can be. Oops. Wow, look at the size of Chief Gant's desk. Speaking of that, when we were here earlier... Oh, it's you two. Chief Gant. He put that paper he was reading in his desk. Wondered what he was reading. This looks like a list of evidence. A list of evidence. In most cases, the list runs twice as long as this, though. So I think Edgeworth was looking at this too. Hey, look at the case name. Huh? The SL9 incident. I wonder what this is doing here. Hold on, detective. What did you just say? I said, I wonder what. No, about evidence lists. Normally they're twice as long. That's right. I guess there wasn't a lot of evidence. A half-size list of evidence. Yeah, Edgeworth was looking at it. The list of evidence, it seems too short. Most lists run twice as long. Well, he does just stare into your soul for an uncomfortable amount of time. Yeah, Gant, he does. He does like to do that. What would the other half of the list be doing here? Oh, it's the other half. I thought it would be a copy. All right, I knew it. The Chief must be hiding something about that case. It would appear so. Was ripped in half, so this part is all I've got. Interesting. Okay, I thought I would at least be able to look at it. Nope, you get a bunch of blurry letters. I didn't know you could kill somebody with a PVC pipe. Oh. I wonder what this is. It looks like someone drew some kind of sketch here. This is probably Emma's drawing, because Emma said she drew a picture. What is it? Did you find something? I can't make it out. I better keep quiet about it for now. Huh. Oh, no, it's nothing. Why are your eyes moving about like that, Mr. Wright? I'd better not forget about this picture. Okay, interesting. Apparently I could search this again. Wow, look at the size of, we found this inside a drawer, list of evidence. Mr. Edgeworth had the other half of the list. We better look a little more into this. All right, thanks for that, I guess. So we look at this. Let's look outside. You can see pretty far from 15 stories up. If you were to drop that suit, okay. If you were to drop that suit, somebody would probably die if it hits them. At first, the Chief wanted to use stained glass for this window. Isn't it? It already looks like stained glass. Really? Why didn't he? They say he changed his mind because he wouldn't be able to see the view. Oh, I have the hiccups. I'm literally dying of the hiccups right now. Stained glass or not, it's a huge window. All right, let's look at the fucking elephant in the room in here. Organ. Chief's organ sure is a sight to behold. Occasionally we hear him playing it from the Criminal Affairs Department. That's on the 2nd floor, and this is the 15th floor of an entirely different building. When the detective screws up, the Chief calls them to his office and makes them listen to the organ for hours. What's so bad about that? Music soothes the soul. He's probably pretty bad. After that, the detective can't hear anything for days except the ringing in their ears. So it's an instrument of punishment, literally. But aren't the Chief's ears affected? He never listens to anyone anyway. That's besides the point. Hey, are you gonna say, hey, that jar? Yeah, the jar I showed you earlier. This was taken on that day 2 years ago. The day Joe Dark ran out of the questioning room and tried to kill Emma. After receiving his award trophy, Mr. Marshall took a picture here, then went along with Chief Gant to question Dark. I bet he never knew he'd be dead at just a few hours later. Yeah, nobody usually knows that. Gee, you think? Plates! These shelves are mostly empty, but we got 3 plates! Lana must have cleaned them out when she transferred over to the prosecutor's office. There's a small picture frame on the left shelf. Hey, this is when Lana and I went to that theme park. This shelf? That looks like a flower. Emma, what the fuck are you talking about, theme park? Yep. I'm sure looking out that window is not going to give me anything. This was Lana's desk. It sure is tidy. Lana's always been a meticulous cleaner. There's not even any dust on it. Looks like someone's still keeping it clean. Does Lana ever come back here? No. Chief Gant must still keep it clean in memory of their partnership. They are the stuff legends are made of. Does he keep it in memory of her or in memory of the crime? I can look at the floor. This mark looks like some kind of flower. Word is it's designed after the insignia on the prosecutor's badge. Well, I don't know what the prosecutor's badge looks like. Prosecutor's badge? Yeah, like the one hanging from your collar. This is the defense attorney's badge. What? They have badges too? Design's supposed to portray the severity of the punishment system. Yeah, it's got all 9 levels of hell on it. Now that you mention it, it does look all pointy and kind of painful. But Mr. Edgeworth never wears a badge. That's because he's a sharp dresser. A badge like that wouldn't go too well with his outfit. So sharp dressers don't need to wear badges. I guess everyone just kind of lets it slide. I don't see how that's supposed to signify severe punishment. Alright, let's look at the... I guess I can't look at any of this. We'll just look at the safe then. This is a safe, isn't it? Well, yeah, I would assume it is. Safe. That word is ripe with intrigue. Okay, if you say so. It looks like a code needs to be entered in this panel to open it. But literally no other prosecutor wears it in any of these games. Yeah, they don't like the badge very much. It looks like a code needs to be entered in this panel to open it. Alright. Oh, perfect. We're going to try. A 7-digit number. I think I might just know what it is. Please tell me it's 7777777. I have a hunch. Oh, I know. You want to try my birth date? It's... No, I don't... I'm not going to try your birth date. Okay, we didn't need to zoom in. It was already zoomed in. I have a better idea. Here goes nothing. Please tell me it is 777777. Wow, let's go. That's because that is... In case you're wondering why I chose that, it's because if I check the ID card record, that is Chief Gant's ID card. He was in the evidence room at 4:20 on the day of the murder. 4:20, blaze it! Bingo! What number did you enter? Whose birthday was that, pal? 777777777. The final ID card number on that record. What? The number of the mysterious executive officer who entered the room that day. You mean 777777777, that ID number? I think you're 17 shy this time. This can only mean one thing. That's Chief Gant's ID number. I'm a smoke pot. Say, anyone care to look inside? Yeah, sure, I'll look inside. I thought we were gonna do it automatically. Is there money in there? How much does he have stashed away? Look, it's, discharge from a broken cup. This somehow looks familiar. Where have I seen this before? There's something else in here too. What's this? It looks like a piece of leather cloth. I'm a pot smoke. I'm a smoke pot. I'm a pot smoke. Okay. This is a handprint, isn't it? Hey, I saw someone wearing a shirt like that once. You think the chief made up the design? I don't think so. Oh, well, it was just a thought. Is that it? This is all that was in the safe? Apparently so. It's empty now. A piece of cloth with a handprint on it, and a broken shard from a cup. They look like pieces of evidence. Yeah, but unless you can prove they have something to do with this case, I'm afraid I can't just let you take them. After all, it's my neck on the line here. Great. Now I have to prove their relevancy to get them. How are these 2 items related to the SL9 incident? Come on, there's got to be something we can show the detective. Well, I'm sure I'm gonna do this first, because this is obvious. Detective Gumshoe, could you have another look at this jar? I'm not. Good for you, William. You're taking the high road here. I remember when the three of us put that back together. Ah, those were the days. It's kind of early to be nostalgic. Wasn't this jar a piece of evidence from that case? That's right. One of the shards had an SL9 incident sticker on it. Doesn't this ring any bells? You know, that fragment we just found. You mean this one? That was in the safe? Yes, that one. That was in the safe. Now that you mention it, it's ringing a lot of bells. Let's see if it fits. Assemble the fragments. Here, let me see that shard. I'll take a crack at this. Go ahead, pal. Show us what a rookie can do. Mr. Wright, here's some glue. If I can piece this together again, it'll prove Chief Gant was knowingly hiding evidence. Here goes. Oh my god, I don't know if I'd be able to do this. Holy shit. There, fits like a charm. That of course means Chief Gant willingly and knowingly hid a piece of this jar in a safe. In other words, he concealed a piece of evidence from the SL9 incident. But, hey guys, get a load of this. What is it? This piece you just attached is different from the others. There's a reddish line on it. A reddish line? That's blood. I don't get it. Why would Chief Gant hide this in his safe? I don't know, my friend. Let's see what they have to say about it. Hey, look here. It's hard to make out, but there's a dark red stain here. Looks like blood. This piece that Chief has is different, though. The blood stains on the other pieces are just spots, but this one's a line. That is odd. Alright, so now I have to figure out if the other thing is part of this case. Let's present this to him. Detective Gumshoe, I'd like you to have a look at this. Hey, I know what that is. So you want to take some fingerprints. That's a great idea, Detective. Alright, go to town, sheesh. What are you doing? Why are you sticking out your hand like that? Go ahead, take my fingerprints. It's not your fingerprints we want to take, huh? Come on. This isn't the time for jokes. We're talking about that cloth we found in the safe. Oh, I knew that. The one with the handprint on it, right? Sheesh, where's your sense of humor? What finger are we going to pick? Let's check for prints. Sprinkle the powder on the cloth. Then once they've been absorbed into the prints, blow the rest away. What are you, my mom? I don't have to be told a million times. All right, let's get this over with. Oh yeah, oh man, it won't let me. Hold on, I wanna try this finger mainly because it looks the most intact, I guess. It's time for the powdering of the screen. I love this part of the video game. It's my favorite. The cocaine. Here it is. Yes. Yo, this one's about to be an absolute shocker. Because I remember whose fingerprint is on this. Let me fill this corner in a little bit. This corner needs some more. I can't get over here. There's a weird invisible wall, so that's as good as that's getting. Let's get some more of the middle. There's some spots up here I can do. Man, I'm sorry, Emma, but you're really gonna need to buy a new one of these. I don't even remember who gave this to you. Or to me. Was it Emma who gave this to me? Or was it Edgeworth that gave this to me? I couldn't even tell you right now. That's no snow. Instead of cocaine, it's no snow. All right, and then we just wallop this thing with a good blow. Fingerprint. I'm pretty sure it's Emma's, yeah. Also, I want to, real quick, before I continue on, I believe this cloth came from his little jacket he's wearing, or vest, I guess it would be. I think that's what the cloth came from. How can this be? What are Emma's fingerprints doing here? Hey, you found a match. Whose fingerprints were they? Huh? Oh, it seems the prints are too old. They aren't clear enough to get a match. Oh, that's too bad. I thought they'd be Dark's prints. Psst. Hey, you, over here. What? What's going on here? What are that kid's prints doing inside the chief's safe? Don't ask me. Let's just keep this information from Emma for now. Here, maybe you should hold on to this. Well, was I any help? Of course. Thanks to your ID card, we were able to get some hard evidence. Now that's not very kind, is it? In other words, if it wasn't for his ID card, he would have been useless. Isn't that right? You in the coat. Eek. Chief Gant. We didn't think you'd be back so soon. Fortunately, I'm a man who believes in signs. As I was walking to my meeting, I happened to look out a window and saw a stray dog run right into a pole. Sorry for the dog. Just then, I thought of a certain detective. Do you mean me, sir? Now then, I'm afraid I'm gonna have to ask you all to leave. Yes, sir. Sorry. Oh, you in the coat. Me, sir. Drop off your ID on the way out. You won't be needing it anymore, but sir. Now get out. Yes, sir. We'll be on our way too then. Wait, you, the one without the spiky hair. Don't go yet. Me, sir. I'd like a word with you. But sir, I'm not a licensed... You, with the spiky hair, you're free to go. Mr. Wright. Now that Emma's not with me, I could probably talk to Lana if she's in the detention center still. Look, pal, if I've told you once, I've told you 1,000 times. The chief's office is off limits. But no, you just had to go sneaking in there like that, didn't you? I thought you said you didn't care anymore if you were fired. Yeah, but if I knew it'd be like this, I never would have said it. Now that I've seen the evidence Chief Gant was hiding in his office, I think I'm finally starting to get the picture. Well, fuck you. How dare you fire Gumshoe? I know. Also, I'm like how he didn't notice his safe was open. But why has she kept eerily silent about it at this time? Anyway, you listening to me? I'm gonna try to smooth things over with the chief again. Later, pal. After that, I heard from Emma. She said the police wanted to ask her some questions. She'll be busy for the rest of the day. Yep, I go straight to Lana. I see. So the chief asked Emma to come in for questioning. There's no use thinking about it. Tomorrow's the final day in court. I'm committed to doing everything I can to defend you, which is why I'm here. But I've already told you all I can. What you've told me over these past couple of days is absolutely nothing. Not a single useful thing. Really, I believe I did mention something quite important. Something I told you right at the beginning. I said that I was the one who stabbed Detective Goodman. You know, I think I finally figured it out. I know who it is that's lurking behind your words. Mia did a good job mentoring you. I'm rather jealous. It seems Edgeworth was right. Edgeworth. Once you're convinced you know something, no one can persuade you otherwise. Thick-headed is the term you use, I believe. Now's my chance to get her to tell me the rest of the story. Hey you! What the fuck? Showing evidence isn't going to do me any good now. I've got to get Lana to tell me everything she's hiding. Motherfucker! I'm starting to see the hunger in your eyes. I have to admit I was more than a little perplexed at first. You insist you did it, yet there is no incriminating evidence. That's when it hit me. It's not that you're unwilling to tell the truth, it's that you're incapable of doing so because of a certain individual. What an intriguing notion. A certain individual, you say. So you think I'm protecting this person? Protecting? No, I think afraid of is more like it. If I'm not mistaken, the person in question may have persuaded you into silence. For argument's sake, Mr. Wright, who may I ask is this person you're speaking of? The one I am supposedly so frightened of. What is this person's name? Oh, well, there's fucking Damon Gant. Take that! I just threw entire Damon Gant at you. Ugh! Jerome is right there. Jerome is right there. Well, Miss Guy, Mr. Wright, you are addressing the prosecutor. Do not forget your place. I take it she's still not ready to spill the beans. My apologies. Could you please tell me a bit more about what you think you know? We were partners until 2 years ago. I respected him as a detective. Assuming he is respectable, then tell me something. Why would he try to hide his crimes? His crimes? Both you and Edgeworth will be brought before a board of inquiry for what you did, specifically hiding and forging evidence. Of course, these are serious offenses. Why is it, though, that Chief Gant's name was never mentioned? Chief Gant? Edgeworth didn't know the truth behind the forgery. The only party who could have possibly tampered with the evidence was me. I had access because I was second in command of that investigation. Yes, you, but also one other, Damon Gant. If you intend to accuse Chief Gant, you'll need more than just words. Show me proof that Chief Gant falsified evidence in that case. I'm guessing I probably show this now. I just found this in a safe in the chief's office. This jar piece and this piece of cloth. Do you know what these are? They're pieces of evidence from the SL9 incident. The person concealing evidence was none other than Chief Gant himself. Now tell me, why are you taking all the blame for him? Touché, Mr. Wright. It's as you surmised. I cannot disobey the Chief's orders, even if it means being found guilty for murder. Why not? Come now, Mr. Wright. You can't possibly expect me to be able to tell you that. 3 days ago, I had no choice but to cooperate in the murder of Detective Goodman. Or perhaps I should say, follow orders. Yes, that's more accurate than cooperate. Although I can't tell you the details, I can say that I was given an order that day. I need you to dispose of Bruce Goodman's body. You'll find it inside the trunk of Miles Edwards' car. Just as I suspected, despite what everyone believes, you are not the one who murdered Detective Goodman. Correct. I was trying to take the body out of Edwards' car. The trunk's lock was broken, and I discovered that murder weapon while inspecting the body. The murder weapon? You mean Edwards' knife? No. When I found the body, this was the knife stuck in it. The knife from the SL9 incident. Serial killer Joe Dark's knife. I couldn't just leave that knife in him, so I took it out and stabbed him with another knife. That would be Edwards' knife. That's right. Even though he was already dead, my hands were shaking at the thought of stabbing him. That's why I ended up cutting my hand. And that is the reason for the bandage on your right hand. Yes, it seems that I got blood on the victim's shoe as well. And then she saw me just as I plunged the knife in. Missed R, huh? Why did you need to hide Dark's knife so badly? It took a lot of work to finally close the Dark case 2 years ago. It was over with. I didn't ever want it to be opened again. My intent was to prevent that by whatever means possible. So you hid Dark's knife. The weapon used to stab the detective was evidence in Joe Dark's case. If word got out, which it would, the reporters would have a field day with that. So you wrapped the knife in your scarf and hid it. In Edward's exhaust pipe. Right. Then I called my sister to tell her what happened, and to ask her to hide the knife that was inside my muffler. You asked Emma. I didn't want anyone on the force to know about this. That would explain why Emma is so confident about Lana's innocence. Speaking of phone calls, I had a bad feeling about one of them that day. A bad feeling? Truth is, after I received those orders from Chief Gant, the first thing I did was make a phone call. A phone call to Patrolman Jake Marshall. Oh, well, welcome back, cowboy music. Welcome to the Wild West. To Marshall, why on earth would you call him? The lead investigator from the SL9 incident has been murdered. I wanted that fact to be kept hidden, and I needed help. He was the only other person I could trust, or at least I thought I could trust him at the time. However, it seems that after I spoke to him, he went off on an escapade on his own. Oh, you mean, not wanting the case to die, he decided to take things into his own hands. He disguised himself as Detective Goodman and tried to steal the evidence. He had already stolen the ID card, but it seems he still hadn't made up his mind to break into the evidence room. After my phone call, any remaining doubts he had must have disappeared. So your phone call caused the incident in the evidence room. I'm afraid that's all I can tell you. But Lana, you've earned my respect, Mr. Wright, both as a defense attorney and an investigator. Now please, don't pursue this any further in court tomorrow. Tomorrow's trial. There's only one way to drive off Lana's demons. I've got to get to the bottom of everything. Detective Goodman's real murderer is probably Damon Gant. And what went down in the chief's office 2 years ago? To be continued. Alrighty. This is the defendant lobby, alright, but there's no defendant. I've been trying to reach Lana all morning. Where could she be? And where's Emma, for that matter? It almost seems as if something's been happening behind the scenes. Final day, I know. Edgeworth. Knowing you, you've already figured it out. Who the owner of the 7777 ID number that is. Well, I have a pretty strong hunch. Looks like I'm not the only one who's figured it out. You know, the only reason this trial didn't reach a verdict yesterday is because there is still room for doubt regarding this ID record. If that number does belong to whom you suspect, then no doubt will remain. After all, he hasn't been officially charged with anything. True, not yet. In any event, once all doubt has been removed from that list, I can call for a ruling. 5 minutes, Wright, and Chief Prosecutor Skye will be found guilty. But she didn't do it. I figured you'd say as much. That's why I came here, to hear what you have to say. This is the first time he's ever done something like this. Lana's hiding something, and the only way we'll ever know the truth is to draw it out of her. The truth. Everything goes back to the SL9 incident. Don't be stupid. Today's the last day of the trial. We don't have time to reminisce about the past. That depends on you. If she's found guilty, you'll lose your only chance to find out what really happened. I'll think about it. See you in court, Wright. This is it. If I'm ever going to find out what Chief Gant has on her, it's now. No, Emma. Court is now in session for the trial of Miss Lana Skye. The defense is ready, Your Honor. The prosecution is ready, Your Honor. Normally, this is when the prosecution puts forth its opening statement. But before that, the police chief has a proposal to make. Chief Gant. Hey, what's up, dude? Phase into existence. Morning, folks. How's everyone doing? Hey, Edgy, been back to the pool yet? No, I've been drowning enough as it is in my work. Oh, that's a good one. Don't think I can top that. If you don't mind me asking, Chief, exactly what is this proposal of yours? Lana, that is to say the defendant, has asked me if she could speak directly to the court. She wants to do what? Having heard what she intends to say, I feel she should be granted her request. In the end, it should save everyone a lot of time and trouble. What's this all about, defendant? I'd just like to make one simple request and I'll be finished. Well then, what's your request? Your Honor, I'd like you to put an immediate end to this trial. Huh? I confess to all charges against me. On February 21st of this year, I murdered Detective Bruce Goodman in the underground parking lot in the prosecutor's office. No, Lana. You can't. Your Honor, the defendant's claim does not change the defense's plea. In that case, Mr. Wright, I no longer require your services, but Lana. Your Honor, I hereby forfeit my right to an attorney. The prosecution may lack direct evidence against me, but it has sufficiently proven its case through testimony and circumstantial evidence. I would like you to render your verdict now, if you please. Well, the defendant certainly has the right to self-representation. Her request is legally valid, although this is an unprecedented situation. Indeed, it appears there's no further need to continue this trial, even if Mr. Wright may feel otherwise. This can't be happening. It appears the time for the verdict has arrived. This court finds the defendant... Objection! I knew Edgeworth was going to say something. One moment, Your Honor. Mr. Edgeworth. The prosecution has not yet proven the defendant guilty beyond reasonable doubt. Any ruling at this stage would certainly be premature. Come now, Worthy. I understand this is a difficult time for you, but why don't you just be a good little boy and keep your mouth shut, And Worthy's gonna be like, fuck you. I don't think I care for your tone, Chief Gant. What? Creating another fabrication to cover up your past mistakes. Sorry, but I'm no longer the naive little boy you would have me be. With this sudden confession from the defendant, it's obvious to me some kind of deal was struck behind the scenes. Some kind of deal, Not everyone operates as you do, Worthy. I thought so. Your Honor, the prosecution would like to change its first witness. Oh, to whom? As its first witness, the prosecution would like to call Miss Emma Skye. I request the court hears her testimony. Mr. Edgeworth, I am exercising my right to self-representation. Fuck you too! I don't think we need to continue. I don't care what you think, Miss Skye. The exposure of truth sometimes results in tragedy. However, no matter how tragic the truth may be, it would be an even greater tragedy to avert one's eyes from this. Very well, the court shall grant the prosecution's request. That's okay with you, right, Chief Gant? Worthy. You'll live to regret this. Mark my words. Miss Emma Skye, please take the stand. And Edgeworth is like, well, I'm resigning after today, so that's okay. Looks like Edgeworth has decided to take the horse by the reins. Now then, witness, please state your name and occupation. My name is Emma Skye. My occupation, I'm Lana's little sister, and I want to be a scientific investigator. 2 years ago, you encountered the serial killer Joe Dark of the Joe Dark killings. Is this correct? Yes. I'm trying my hardest to forget about that, though. I'm sorry, but I'm afraid I'm gonna have to ask you to recall those events one more time. Mr. Edgeworth, please remember, this trial concerns the murder of Detective Goodman. It is an incident that was resolved 2 years ago. Really all that relevant? Yes, it most certainly is. Well, okay then. He sure gave in fast. Now, please testify about what happened to you 2 years ago. The trip to yesteryear. Is that a word? Yesteryear is fun. There's no way that's a word. Hold on. Last year or the recent past, especially as nostalgically recalled. Who the fuck says that? Who has ever said that? Other than Phoenix Wright. Who? What? Is bound to lead to the truth behind this trial. Fucking yesteryear. That's word of the day. Yesteryear is word of the day. You say last year, not fucking yesteryear. 2 years ago. I was waiting in my sister's office that day. A man came running in and took me hostage. Neil Marshall rescued me, but I'll never forget what I saw in that instant. The man raised up his knife and stabbed Mr. Marshall in the chest. There's my contradiction right there, because he was stabbed in the back. It's a good thing you weren't harmed. I passed out. I don't remember much. That's understandable. However, please tell me, Mr. Edgeworth, what does this testimony have to do with Detective Goodman's murder? That will soon become apparent, Your Honor. You've got to admire him for his courage, considering he has no evidence. Very well. The defense may begin its cross-examination. Why is Dark's hair literally ice cream in that photo? I don't know. I wasn't paying attention to it. You'll have to take a screenshot and put it in Shmeems. 2 years ago, the defendant was a detective at the police department, correct? Yes, she was a second in command under then Deputy Chief of Police Gant. My sister was the best detective ever. Yes, I remember. Deputy Chief Gant and Miss Guy used to be quite the pair. I believe they share the same office. That's right. I'd always sit at my sister's desk and dream about playing that organ. I wanted to play it that day, too. The police department and the prosecutor's office held a ceremony that day. Lana promised to take me to dinner after she finished her work. A man came running in and took me hostage. A man? Yes, Joe Dark. He was a serial killer. Joe Dark was brought in for questioning on the day of the ceremony. We were desperate to get anything on him that would lead to an arrest. When he saw his chance, he fled the room, right? Upon fleeing the room, Dark proceeded to take the elevator. He must have been in a panic because the elevator was going up. Then he ran into Sky and Gant's office. There was a lot of noise coming from outside, so I opened the door to have a look. That's when I saw him. What was the prosecutor doing there? That day, there were 2 people present during Dark's questioning, Deputy Chief Damon Gant and Prosecutor Neil Marshall. Almost forgot about Gant. Neil Marshall had just received the King of Prosecutors Award. Young and dedicated, he went straight to the questioning room after the ceremony. I assumed that would also be where he was the first to run after Dark. When Dark grabbed me, I thought I was as good as dead. And that's when Prosecutor Marshall came running in. I don't clearly remember what happened then, but I'll never forget what I saw in that instant. Can you tell us about that? Mr. Marshall jumped on Dark, and then the lights went out. The lights! It was just about this time of year. There was a terrible storm going on, and lightning struck nearby. So the electricity went out. Wait a minute. If it was pitch dark in that room, you shouldn't have been able to see anything, right? Right, but just then, lightning flashed again outside. Then that sudden flash left an unforgettable image in the scene in my mind. You put it in Shmeems? Hold on, let me look at it. It is like ice cream, actually. It does look a lot like ice cream. That's pretty funny. Oh, I just opened up that. Hold on. Okay, there we go. Opened up Obsidian by accident. I don't need to look at Obsidian. That sudden flash left an unforgettable image of the scene in my mind. I see. I told the detective about what I saw then. The detective? Yes, Detective Goodman. He was in charge of the case. Detective Bruce Goodman, the victim. So you spoke with Detective Goodman about this 2 years ago? Yes, that's what's so scary about this trial. And you told Detective Goodman what you saw? Yes, but at the time the words just couldn't come out. That's why I drew a picture. A picture. Yes, I think she mentioned that before. Well, Mr. Wright, have you heard enough? This picture the witness drew, I believe it has a very important meaning. He looks ridiculous. He does look ridiculous. He is literally ice cream hair. And then there's Brandon putting in fucking whatever the hell this is. But the list of evidence I was given 2 years ago didn't contain a picture. Witness, would you mind if we added this statement to your testimony? Yes, Your Honor. It seems to have been lost. I wonder if I present this. Interesting. You drew a picture of the scene you witnessed, right? Yes, I want to do everything I could to help the investigation. I can still see it now whenever I close my eyes. That's strange. I took over the case after Prosecutor Marshall died, yet I never received any picture. Perhaps the witness is mistaken. But I did draw it. I swear I'm not just imagining it. This picture that Emma drew, that reminds me. I guess I should check the evidence again. Well, anyway, let's continue. This scene that imprinted an image in your mind, can you please describe it to us? The man stabbed him in the chest. That must have been a real shock. Even now, when I close my eyes, I can still see it just as clearly. Tell us, what were you doing at that moment? I believe you testified that Joe Dark was holding you hostage. When lightning struck and the lights went out. Yeah, there it is again. It is some good old ice cream hair. Also, look at this face that Neil is making. Look at the veins in his forehead. What am I looking at? Wow. What is that, Brandon? Brandon, the meme you showed me is scaring me. Mr. Marshall jumped on Dark. I was thrown aside and the two began wrestling each other. I'm pretty sure I was watching them. Emma doesn't have any reason to lie, but Lana sure does. I need to get Emma to tell me as much as she can. So I wonder if... Because I want to present the autopsy report too. Because the autopsy report says stabbed in the back, but she said stabbed in the chest. But I'm gonna do this first. It's on the back of this, right? Rotate it around. Yeah. Okay. Mr. Edgeworth, this little girl put all her heart into drawing that picture. And yet you would insist on denying its existence. Huh? Hey, I'm not the bad guy. All I'm saying is that as the prosecutor for that case, I wasn't handed such a picture. That may well be, but that doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Behold, this is the evidence list for the SL9 incident. Please turn it over, Your Honor. Turn it over. Turn it up. What's this? All right, hold on. Yes, what is that? Hey, that's it. That's the picture I drew. Why'd you put it up? Oh, hold on. There we go. They flipped it. They flipped it. I was like, yeah, that's not right. What's the meaning of this? What are you doing with that list? Me? Only the prosecutor in charge should have access to that list. Huh. These lists, they're different from each other. What? It would appear, Mr. Edgeworth, that the evidence list you were handed 2 years ago is incomplete. These two lists fit together to form one. You put a few new shmemes. All right, let me look at shmemes. What the fuck? All right, the SpongeBob and Patrick one is pretty funny, but fucking, I don't know, green tooth Kermit, fat man picture, not a fan. I'm not a fan of what I'm looking at right now. Gonna be honest. I'm not a fan of that one either. I'm also not a fan of that one. You know what? I hate that one so much, I'm just fucking deleting that from the Discord. Because no, we're not looking at that. That one's also really fucking weird. Okay. Any more? No? Good. You can see the marks here where they were torn apart from each other. So you see, Mr. Edgeworth, it's quite obvious what happened. 2 years ago, only half of the evidence in that case ever reached you. What? Wait. Order, order. But Miss Skye, why did you draw your picture on the back of such an important list? Because that's what Detective Goodman handed me in the questioning room, Your Honor. Wait a minute. If this list was torn in half, then that means... Your Honor, are you all right, Mr. Wright? Your eyes are bulging from your head. If the evidence list was torn in half, then there might be more of the drawing on the back of Mr. Edgeworth's list. Mr. Edgeworth. Okay, sure. I just put an image of Meekins without the officer suit. That's so stupid. That's so dumb. I like how Edgeworth had this picture and just never turned it over. Yes, that's quite conceivable, Mr. Edgeworth. It's possible. Let's see. Is something wrong? Do you even have to ask? Sorry, Your Honor. There's indeed something drawn on the back of my list. You never thought to turn it around? It's that thing. Why? The blue badger. It fucking haunts us. The face you made after reading Brandon's message was pure gold. That's that thing. That thing that was dancing in the evidence room. Clearly, this act of vandalism is the work of a certain chief of detectives. I guess he was out of scrap paper. Evidence list restored and updated in the court record. Very well, witness. Will you please testify about this picture you drew 2 years ago? Huh? Oh, yes, Your Honor. What's wrong with Emma? She seemed to be thinking about something when she was looking at the picture. This is the picture I drew 2 years ago. The flash of lightning was so bright, all I could see were shadows. After that, I must have fainted. This picture shows exactly what I saw in that instant. All right, short and sweet. To think a flash of lightning could burn such an image in your mind. Thanks to that, though, she was able to show us exactly what she saw. Well, I don't see any contradictions here. This clearly shows Joe Dark about to murder prosecutor Neil Marshall. The defense may now begin its cross-examination. Did you draw this picture right after the incident? I think I drew it 2 or 3 days later. At first, I was in such a state of shock that I couldn't do anything. During that time, the investigation team was reorganized. Detective Goodman was placed in charge, under the direction of Damon Gant and Lana Skye. 2 or 3 days later, the memory should still have been fresh in her mind. Excuse me, witness. But can you please tell us why this picture is painted all black? The flash of lightning was so bright all I could see was shadows. So at the time, you didn't even know it was Mr. Marshall who had come to your rescue? No, I couldn't see him clearly. The lightning was so bright and I was knocked to the floor. You were knocked to the floor. Dark had a tight grip on me, and when Mr. Marshall jumped on him, I was knocked away. I turned around. And that's when the lightning flashed. Poor Emma. I'm just glad she wasn't hurt. What happened after the lightning flashed? After that, I must have fainted. Oh, let me press this. You mean you didn't see the actual murder take place? No. I'm sorry. The flash of lightning only drove off the darkness for a split second. Not only that, but the trauma of this situation understandably caused the witness to faint. Do you really need to torture this girl any further? What? Hey, I'm not the bad guy here. Anyway, this picture... Sorry for asking so many times, but are you sure you drew exactly what you saw? Of course, this is the exact scene. It wasn't influenced in any way from your talk to the detectives. Spider meme in chat? Yeah, you've already showed that meme before. Are you insinuating we somehow manipulated her memory, Mr. Wright? No, of course not. I better watch out or he might find some way to cut my salary. I drew this picture before I heard anything from the detectives. Don't think anyone's story would have influenced me. Mr. Wright, is there something that's bothering you about this picture? Huh? Oh, well. That's strange. She claims this is exactly the scene that was imprinted in her mind. And yet, there's clearly a contradiction here. I probably show the autopsy report now, right? Because he was stabbed in the chest. Or she says stabbed in the chest, but this says stabbed in the back. Yep. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but the picture the witness drew contains a blatant contradiction. What? but I still remember it, just like it was yesterday. Mr. Wright, perhaps it would be faster if you simply pointed out this contradiction for us. What part of this picture... Oh, mother... I don't know, the knife? The victim? All right, I have, how many strikes do I get? I lose 2 each time, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, like 5. All right, well, we're gonna point at the knife first, and if that's not it, we'll point at something else. The contradiction, of course, lies here. Take a look at the knife the man is holding. If you look closely, you can see its tip is broken. Can we see that? It is a fucking rectangle, Phoenix. Even I do not have to look closely to see that, Mr. Wright. But Mr. Wright, look at the evidence. See, the murder weapon? Its tip is broken too. If I recall, the tip of the knife was found broken off in the victim's body. If it was conclusive, it was the conclusive piece of evidence that proved Joe Dark was the murderer. I'm afraid it's not so simple, Emma. I just said Emina. And where, pray tell, could you possibly see a problem? It's obvious, really. The victim suffered a single stab wound to the back. The victim was only stabbed once. Then the murder weapon should not yet be broken. Ah! Fallout meme? Yeah, I see. It's on my other monitor. I'm looking at it. I just want to know where you find these. Perhaps the knife was broken beforehand. Sorry, but I'm afraid that's not possible. The tip of the knife was found inside the victim's body. If it was broken beforehand, it couldn't possibly wind up there. That Zootopia meme is kind of funny, actually, to be honest. The tip of the knife was undeniably discovered within the victim's body. The only possible explanation is the witness's memory is mistaken. That's why I asked her so many times if she was sure she remembered correctly. I believe you were annoyed at the time, but she was sure she remembered correctly. But there's no other way to explain this inconsistency. Not so fast, Mr. Edgeworth. There is another explanation. Have you forgotten already? About a little something called falsified evidence. You're treading on thin ice, right? All I'm saying is that this broken knife tip might be the piece of evidence that was forged. You can't deny the possibility. No. Order. Are you saying the investigation really was corrupted? Your Honor, please allow me to once again go over the events that took place the day of the murder. The police department and the prosecutor's office were holding a ceremony that day. I like how the sword is practically glowing in this image. Oh, the fucking holy sword and holy piece of suit of armor. After receiving the King of Prosecutors Award at the ceremony, the murder of the day, did I say that instead of the day of the murder? And the murder of the day is this one. After receiving the King of Prosecutors Award at the ceremony, Neil Marshall questioned Joe Dark along with David Gant. During his questioning, Joe Dark fled the room. You were about to, then you corrected yourself? Oh, okay. I don't pay attention to what I say half the time, so. Prosecutor Marshall chased after him and was killed by Dark. It is my belief that somewhere in the story there's a lie. I'm not lying. The man really was holding up a broken knife. If that's true, then there's no way around it. This could not have been the actual murder weapon. There must have been another broken knife. What are the chances of there being 2 broken knives? Another broken knife besides Joe Dark's. Could there have been one? Could there have been another one besides Joe Dark's? Well, I still believe that the murder weapon is the sword. Here. Because they said earlier, I don't remember who said it, but earlier they said that the wound didn't match the knife. Like the wound he had didn't match his knife wound, so But I don't actually know. There is another one. So there's not another knife. But I think I say Emma's mistaken. Because, you know, if this piece of cloth has Emma's fingerprints on it, I'm pretty sure it's the vest that Neil was wearing. Because Neil was doing something to Emma. She pushed him, and he fell onto the sword. Or the small knife. I think I say Emma's mistaken. Broken knives don't just grow on trees. There's no way there was another one. Well, Mr. Wright, Your Honor, I believe the witness must be mistaken. I knew it. You really don't believe me. That flash of lightning burned an unforgettable image in her mind. One that's been torturing her ever since. There's no way Emma could be mistaken. If the witness, it can't just be explained away by a simple observational error. Mr. Wright. In that instance, Emma really did see a broken knife. I assume then that you have other information about this other broken knife. If so, please feel free to enlighten us. Okay, never mind. The murder weapon was already broken prior to the murder. There's only one way. Take a look at this. Here's the real murder weapon. But this isn't broken, though. And I don't think it was broken in Gant's office, either. Oh! It's this! The thing is broken. Nice picture and memes, dude. Nice picture. It's this. He had a broken 2 years ago. The halberd was removed. Take that! If anything's broken here, it's you. Huh? I'm sure this must all be very amusing to you, Mr. Wright, but may I remind you that the fate of Miss Lana Skye hangs in the balance. Okay, fuck you. Maybe I do show the picture. Take that! The answer lies in the past, 2 years in the past, right here inside this picture. This is a picture of the award ceremony. Ah, what is it, Mr. Edgeworth? It's the broken murder weapon. Notice the award Prosecutor Marshall is holding. That's a broken knife. As we earlier concluded, the knife in the drawing was not Joe Dark's knife. That being the case, the knife the witness saw was in all likelihood from this award. Order, order, order. Neil Marshall was awarded King of Prosecutors that day. As an award, he was given this broken shield and the knife. When he chased after Joe Dark, he pulled out this knife. Being a prosecutor, he did not carry a pistol. This broken knife was the only weapon he had in this dangerous situation. But that can't be. Oh, and why not, Mr. Edgeworth? Because if the King of Prosecutors' award knife was the murder weapon, then the murderer and the victim would be reversed. What do you mean? I mean, this man raising a knife would have been Prosecutor Neil Marshall. Oh. Oh! Oh, yeah, okay. Hold on. Hold on. It's all coming together. It's all coming together. So Emma thinks that, can I flip this whole thing around? No, but we can't look at it from this way. So, okay, hold on. So Emma thinks that this is Joe Dark and this is Neil Marshall. If this is the broken, like the broken sword off of the King of Prosecutors award, then that would mean that this was Neil Marshall and this was Joe Dark, which still comes back to my theory of Emma pushing Neil away. That's why her fingerprint's on this piece of cloth. And this is a cloth from his vest. Oh, it's all coming together. The pieces fall together. But the prosecutor was the one who actually died. That's true. What's going on here? It seems Mr. Wright has been a bit too eager to jump to conclusions. Hold it. Wait. I remember now. I remember everything. Witness, Mr. Edgeworth, what is it? Could you show me your evidence list again, please? His list. The one with that picture scribbled on the back? I knew it. This picture, I'm the one who drew it. What? You drew that? That's right. The list wasn't torn in half at the time I drew this picture. Why are we listening to the music? All this time I've been trying so hard to forget. I must have locked this part away deep inside me. Perhaps it would be best if we added this to the witness's testimony. Would you please tell us what you've recalled, Miss Guy? Yes, Your Honor. First the knife mix-up and now the blue badger. This should be interesting. When I saw that man raise his knife, I panicked and rushed toward both of them. Yeah, she pushed him. I think I knocked away the man with the knife. Just then there was another flash of lightning, and that's when I saw the blue badger. He wasn't in the room, but I'm sure I saw his shadow. This is certainly most unusual. Try impossible. The chief of detectives hadn't even designed him until this year. That would mean he didn't even exist 2 years ago. Yes, well, the defense may now cross-examine. Stop, please. Don't pursue this any further. Yep, we're gonna figure out that Emma was the one who killed Neil. Lana, what's the meaning of this? Please remain seated in the defendant's chair. But you can't do this. I've already confessed to the crime. Why can't you just leave it at that? Chief Prosecutor Sky, we've already come this far. It's too late to turn back. Ads, I want to die. Sorry, William. Silence. The defense will now begin its cross-examination. Bailiff, please detain the defendant. It seems we're finally getting to the core of the matter. When I saw that man raise his knife. When you say that man, I assume you refer to Joe Dark. Yes, at least I think it was him. You think. All I could really see were shadows. The power outage that immediately preceded the incident is also documented in the prosecutor's office reports. So then I panicked and rushed toward both of them. Why would you do something so dangerous? What else could I have done? He was about to stab Mr. Marshall. She seems convinced that Dark was the one holding the knife. But as we've just theorized, Mr. Marshall was the one holding the knife. Well, I didn't know that at the time. When that Dark guy knocked me down, all I could think was, I've got to help that other person. What do you mean you think? It all happened so fast and I was in shock. I don't remember everything clearly. What I did, it's all kind of a blur. Okay, you're back. Good. You didn't miss much. Miss Sky was almost killed before she was a witness to a murder about to take place. With so much happening in a matter of seconds, a little disorientation is only natural. I saw the man about to stab the other person, who I thought was Mr. Marshall. I knew I had to stop the man with a knife. What you did was very brave, young girl. So then what happened next? And I'm pretty sure the blue badger shadow she saw was the vase. Let me look at the vase. Maybe. If you turn it in a certain way? Oh, you know what? It kind of does look like the blue badger when you have it looking like this. I can see it. Are you sure about this? Of course, see? Let's see. Oh no, hold on. So it's supposed to be like this? Or is it? Yeah, I guess I do kind of see it, to be honest. Alright. See, I even drew a picture of him here, but it was the chief of detectives who thought up this hideous beast, and that was just this year. The blue badger didn't exist 2 years ago. This is all quite, verifiable. I know it sounds strange. I was surprised too when I saw him at the police department. I had this nagging feeling that I'd seen him before somewhere, as he dances so cursed. Now I finally remember. Oh, bother. Oh, brother. Just when you thought that thing had caused enough commotion. Tell us, where in the room did you see him dancing? He wasn't in the room, but I'm sure I saw his shadow. His shadow. So you mean you didn't actually see his face with its winning smile and all? That's right, but I still remember it. He had 3 creepy horns. This is pointless. That thing could have have possibly existed 2 years ago. The witness must be mistaken. That may well be. But what's important is what caused her to think she saw what she did. Oh, and I suppose you have an explanation? If so, then by all means, please tell us what this shadow really was. What was it Emma saw when that lightning flashed? Who is this blue badger really? The blue badger hadn't even been dreamt up when Emma drew this picture. Real quick, I just also want to look at this. No, yeah, it probably was the vase. The vase is right next to the suit of armor. The blue badger hadn't even been dreamt up when Emma drew this picture. Yet she's certain she saw its shadow. Ladies and gentlemen, it is the defendant's belief that on that fateful day 2 years ago, there indeed was something that looked similar to the blue badger, something that is now sitting in this very room. Mr. Wright. In this room, very well, Mr. Wright. What is it that the witness saw in that instant? Please show us this mysterious blue badger look-alike. I can't wait till I present this jar, and then everybody's gonna be like, that's fucking stupid. The mysterious blue badger was in fact this. But that's, what exactly is that? I believe it's some sort of jar. But Mr. Wright, that doesn't look anything like the blue badger. Indeed, it doesn't. As it stands now, it's just a plain jar. However, what if we were to change our viewpoint? Our viewpoint. I've got to show them. I've got to show them the correct angle to look. Oh, hold on. Trying to think. Do you think it's this way? Or is it this way? It might be this way. I'm gonna assume it's this way. Take that! This isn't right. I've got to make it more look like the badger. Fuck! Let me remind you that its case hinges on the witness's drawing. If Mr. Wright can't rematch the shape the witness drew, we cannot accept his claim. I've got to find just the right angle. Man, I cannot. Maybe I should rotate it vertically a bit more, or horizontally. Come on, Mr. Wright, you can do it. I can't wait till it's like, you needed to turn it 49 degrees to the left, and you only turned it 48 degrees to the left. Fuck you. Put it upside down. We could try upside down. At least I'm not losing strikes. I don't have any strikes for this, so that's good. I have as many tries as I can. Let's see. I'll try it, what did I try it first? This way? We'll do, is this my first attempt? Was this the first thing I did, or did I have it the other way? Yes? No, it was the other way? You guys are giving me conflicting information. Well, I have unlimited attempts, so... Nope, all right. Hold on. I wonder if it's not supposed to be completely flipped all the way around. Like, I wonder if it's supposed to be like this almost. Like this, maybe? It could be maybe like this. That kind of looks like his little pom-poms on the left and right. Let's try that. Nope, that's not it. Alright, we're gonna be here for a while. We might as well get some cup of water or something. I don't know. I'll try this. What about this? That's not right. Alright. Let's see. So I think I tried this. This is retarded, man. This is so stupid. We'll try that. How's that? Nope, that's not right. I like how we were just listening to the stupid Blue Badger music during this. He's taunting me. Let me see. Let me try and let me flip it around and kind of like this. Hold on, we're gonna bring it around town. Bring it around town. I feel like I've already tried this, but I don't think that was right. The Blue Badger haunts my dreams now? Yeah, he's gonna haunt my dreams as well. I don't even know. This piece right here is kind of throwing me off. Like, I don't even know. I can't. Because I feel like I've tried this already. Just chuck it at the judge and say, fuck you. Let me bring it around town for a second. Bring it around town. Move it up like this. This seems way too low. Almost there. It needs to be angled. Well, like this. No, what I had previously? Hold on, let me bring it back. Bring it back. Like this? More angled? Like this? So this is what we're looking at? Yeah? Like this? That's it? Angle it up more? Okay. More? Oh, that kind of actually look. Hold on. That actually kind of looks like it. Wait a minute. Hold on. Like this? That kind of looks like it, to be honest. That kind of looks like it. All right, I can't wait till it's like, hey, fuck you, buddy. Take that! All right, we got there. Well, is this a miracle or what? No one can possibly deny this jar's resemblance to the Blue Badger. So they saw a shadow of it. It can't be. So I imagine the shadow is just on the fucking wall, like, oh my god, the Blue Badger. Order. The defense has proven its claim. The mysterious Blue Badger witnessed on the day of the crime was actually this. Although we all enjoyed Mr. Wright's dramatic performance, one question remains. What's your point? What do you mean? So that badger thing was actually just a jar. That doesn't change anything. Thanks, Brandon. I'm afraid that's where you're wrong, Mr. Edgeworth. You see, this changes everything. Indeed? Very well, then. Please tell us. What's different now that we know the witness saw this jar? Probably the location? I don't know why the murder weapon or the murderer would change. I'm gonna assume the location. Allow me to take these in turn. At the moment of the murder, the witness saw this jar. At a very specific angle, I might add, Mr. Wright. Yes, well, knowing this, where could she have seen this jar? Where? The location of the jar is shown in a picture taken on the day of the crime. It's on a shelf in the office of Damon Gant. But the body was found lying near Lana Sky's desk. The witness testified so herself. Yes, and it is these two facts that reveal what actually transpired. You see, the struggle between Dark and Marshall did not take place in Lana Sky's office. It happened on the other side of the room in Chief Gant's office, which isn't really an office. There's no, like, partition or whatnot. Hold on, I'm gonna text myself a reminder real quick. About 152. 152. B4. Alright. It happened on the other side of the room in Chief Gant's office. Are you implying the murderer and moved the victim's body? Found from Damon Gant's office to Lana Sky's office. I love they keep saying office. It's a big room. They did not. Yes. Why would he do that? There's no reason. Exactly. If there wasn't a reason, he wouldn't have gone through the trouble. The only logical conclusion is that there was a reason. Do you know what the reason was, Mr. Wright? I'm about to flip this whole courtroom on its head. I finally figured it out, so this is why Lana tried to stop the trial. It's too late to quit now, though. Please recall the witness's testimony. She said she knocked away the man who was holding up the knife. In the next instant, the jar was hit and flew through the air. Now tell me, what could have sent the jar flying? That would have been the impact the man made when he was knocked into the wall. Ladies and gentlemen, if I may draw your attention to this picture once more. If the man was knocked in the direction of the shelf the jar was sitting on, what would he have hit? Ah, the suit of armor, holding a very sharp and dangerous looking sword. Yes. And since the man who was knocked into the armor was carrying a broken knife, he would have had to have been Neil Marshall, wielding the King of Prosecutors trophy. No, Mr. Wright, you can't be thinking. Yes, there's another possibility of what actually transpired in that room. Another possibility? Of course, the perpetrator would have had no idea, but nevertheless... I don't know if I can go through with this. Mr. Wright, what's the matter? Yeah. If events took place as the defense theorizes, then the outcome is obvious. In that moment, assuming the man Emma Sky knocked away was actually Prosecutor Neil Marshall, I was right! But of course, I've played the game, so... It just took me really long to remember. This is the case I know the least about. Like, I really don't know much about this case. You mean Mr. Marshall died because of me? Me too, yeah. No! Thud. Never imagined her testimony would lead to this, so it was the witness who took the victim's life, and then proved so with her own testimony. This is unprecedented. What are you saying? I'm sorry, Miss Sky, but given the circumstances, Joe Dark murdered Prosecutor Neil. How can you think it was Emma? How dare you try to pin the crime on her? Imagine that, coming from you. Orangutan. Thanks, Brandon. Good insight. If you recall, it was you who admitted to forging evidence 2 years ago. The reason you moved Prosecutor Marshall's body was to keep anyone else from finding out about what Emma did, wasn't it? I assure you, Mr. Edgeworth, I have no idea what you're talking about. If you hope to have anyone believe your insane allegations, I'm afraid you're gonna have to have proof. Tell me, do you have any conclusive evidence that proves my sister killed Neil Marshall? Evidence? I'm willing to bet you don't. Yes, it certainly would be difficult to prove this with evidence. If we don't have evidence, then we'll have to rely on testimony. I'm afraid that won't work in this case. Both parties involved in the incident are dead. We certainly can't get dead people to testify. This has all been a wild goose chase from the beginning. The cloth? Yeah, I know the cloth. Touché, Miss Sky. Of course, that only leaves us with one possibility. You mean there's still another possibility? What do you mean, Mr. Edgeworth? I mean the possibility that the victim has left us a message. For better or for worse, Mr. Marshall did not die instantly. That is true, it does say that. He may have left behind the name of the person who took his life, in one manner or another. That's impossible. And that would be the jar. Well, Mr. Wright, this is the only possibility left to you. A message from the deceased. Does such a message exist? I've got to think back to the court record. The real murderer's name that the victim may have left behind is in the evidence. It would be the jar, because a piece of it was found in Chief Gant's safe, and they wrote Emma. I mean, even if you kind of look at it, let me zoom in. This would be the E right here. Then there's an M right here, and then an A right here. So this message from the deceased is already in my possession. Mr. Wright, will you stop at nothing to prove my sister is a murderer? Do not be mistaken, Miss Guy. Our purpose is not to accuse Emma of any crime. There's only one thing we seek, the truth, no matter how painful it may be. Now then, Mr. Wright, please show us the piece of evidence that conveys a message from the deceased. Take that! This is the message left by the deceased. This is that blue badger from before, right? Oh, is he going to just speak the killer's name? If that thing could, I'm sure it would. Looks like everyone's forgotten this is just a jar. A message was left here on the surface of this jar. What do you mean? If you look closely, you can see a faint trail of blood on this jar. It looks like someone wiped the blood away. Yes, but notice, for some reason, the blood on some of the fragments was not wiped away. Yes, there's a line here drawn in blood. So what you're saying is these dots were once lines. Prosecutor Marshall did not die instantly. He used the few precious moments left to him to leave behind a message. One that someone apparently wiped away, but blood must have seeped into the jar where the lines changed directions. Precisely so. All we need to do is connect these points, and the victim's message will become apparent. No. I don't know why we just don't use. Why don't we use the luminol spray fluid? What kind of message did the victim leave for us? Your Honor, I believe these bloodstains will reveal to the answer. I've got to connect these dots to make letters. There's only one thing the victim could have written given the circumstances: his murderer's name. Okay. It's a defense attorney's duty to prove their client's innocence. That's why all I've been thinking about is saving Lana. After all my efforts, I never thought it would turn out like this. Emma. So this is the final message Prosecutor Marshall left behind. Of all people, she may not have meant it, but in the end, the one who took the victim's life was Emma Skye. Man, even the jury is like, what the fuck? What do I even say here? Seaworthy? Can't say I didn't warn you. Hey, baseball bro. Chief Gant. Do you understand the implications of what you've done? What? What are you talking about? 2 years ago, Joe Dark was sentenced to death. He was convicted because of his final murder. I believe you were the prosecutor in the case, were you not? Heck, yes, Worthy. Because of you, an innocent man was sentenced to death. Well, he did kill like 5 other people, so he wasn't exactly innocent. Not only that, but used forged evidence to ensure his conviction. Objection! But Joe Dark really was a serial murderer. That's undeniable. I'm afraid that's not important. Didn't you know we aren't defenders of justice? What? We're merely keepers of the law. Sentencing a man to death is no light matter, even if there wasn't any cover-up or evidence. Even if there wasn't any cover-up or evidence forgery, ultimately the responsibility falls on the prosecutor in charge. Despite what anyone may say, this fact cannot be denied. They might have sent an innocent man to his death. He was still a murderer. Who has a gun? Just go poof in the air. Take a blank or something. That'll get everybody's attention. The gavel's pounding fell on deaf ears. Unable to settle the crowd, the judge declared a recess. That is the loudest the jury has been. Yeah, it was also loud when Lana said that they forged evidence. Where this trial is headed, no one knows. And a verdict has to be done today, because today's the third day. Sorry, Edgeworth. I didn't mean to get you in trouble. Don't worry about it. This is my problem, not yours. Hope I'm not interrupting anything, pals. Oh, guess I am. I'll come back later. Oh, come back. Wait, Detective Gumshoe, what is it? You've got a lot of nerve, pal, making a detective run all around while on duty. And to top it off, you call me here? I've seen happier people at funerals. Man, this is a sense of deja vu. I take it Lana's having you run errands again. Let me tell you, this is the last time, pal. Here, she asked me to give you this to you if there was a break in today's trial. Evidence law. Edgeworth was talking about this just the other day. You must know the 2 rules of evidence law. Rule number 1, no evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department. Is that right, Mr. Wright? It seems so. Oh, I see. So that Chief Gant is trying to blame Edgeworth, but if the evidence has to be approved by the police department gave him fake evidence. And that would have been Chief Gant. So, if you're blaming Edgeworth, you have to blame yourself as well. There's literally nothing... Chief Gant is trying to shift blame off of himself. You could at least study some evidence law, really. The chief prosecutor also wanted me to give you a message. A message? She said if you're planning to take him on, you're going to need this book. Him. I guess I'll need to give this book a thorough read. Doesn't look like that book will do any good now, though. All that's left now is the chief prosecutor's sentence. That's where you're wrong, detective, huh? Haven't you figured it out yet? Well, I'm still sitting in that prosecutor's seat, despite all these allegations being thrown in at me. Mr. Edgeworth, the real trial today hasn't begun yet. What? What else is there left to do? Your credibility's been all but ruined with this forged evidence you were unaware of. Sky found out she was unwittingly caused a man's death. And now you're telling me you want to do more? You've got to be kidding me, pal. You're missing the point, detective. Lana didn't murder Detective Goodman. She merely stuck a knife into his dead body. That means the real killer is still out there. What? And we're going to expose him, no matter what it takes. This case has hurt too many people. It's time to bring it to an end. Court will now reconvene for the trial of Miss Lana Sky. Mr. Edgeworth, yes, Your Honor. The inquiry committee is planning to impose harsh penalties for your actions. Thank you for the news, Your Honor. Yes, well, ahem. Normally this is where the prosecution calls forth a witness, but, ahem, cough, cough. This isn't easy to say. You see, there is some concern that you, Mr. Edgeworth, may have, struck a bargain? You think I may have manipulated the witnesses. I didn't say that. It's just, you see, everyone has been talking, and the real murder is none other than Emu. Very well, Your Honor. I have a solution. A solution? That being the case, the prosecution will allow the defense to call forth all further witnesses. What? But there's no precedent for what you're proposing. Undeniably, this is an unusual argument, but a very effective one. It would prove that I haven't struck any deals with the witnesses. Well, Mr. Wright, what do you say? Unbelievable. Edgeworth has found a way to continue the trial. Very well. The defense accepts the prosecution's proposal. Then it's settled. The defense may now call forth the next witness. Mr. Wright? You do realize this is your last chance. If you call the wrong witness, this trial is as good as over. The defense calls, the time's finally come to bring out the real murderer. I probably call Damon Gant, if I had to guess. Take that! Damon Gant. The defense calls Damon Gant to the stand. Damon Gant? What does he have to do with anything? As the defendant's partner 2 years ago, Mr. Gant has first-hand knowledge of the crime. I feel we should hear what he has to say about it. As luck would have it, he should still be in the courthouse. He would also be the least likely to have been manipulated by me in any way. Wouldn't you agree, Your Honor? I'd like to call Bruce Goodman to the stand. Can somebody just fling the dead body over the little podium there? We'll just talk to his dead body. It's fine. True. All right, bailiff, please escort Mr. Gant to the stand. Baseball theme song. Here's coming. Hey-oh. Witness, please state your name and occupation. I'd like to call Kermit the Frog to the stand. I'd like to call the judge to the stand, please. What is this, some kind of practical joke? I was just on my way to lunch. Your name and occupation, sir. Worthy, are you sure you want to do this? Your name and occupation. So, you want to play hardball, eh? Please, Mr. Gant. Fine. My name is Damon Gant. I'm the acting chief of police. Now then, Chief Gant. The court requests to hear your testimony. Oh, righto. What's with the grim face? First, let's clear up this SL9 incident. I'd like to call Larry Butts to the stand. Oh, you mean that time when Lana's sister murdered that prosecutor? Personally, I think it's been made pretty clear already. There are still some things unaccounted for. Oh, like what? Like the role you played in all of this. Son, either you're very brave or very foolish. You are aware, of course, that the police chief has all kinds of weapons at his disposal. Weapons. Sure, take my testimony, for example. I don't have to give it if I don't want to. What? Is that true? I'm afraid so. The chief of police has the right to refuse to testify. I'd like to call Mia Fey to the stand. Of course, such an action carries with it certain risks. Don't worry, I'm not here to hinder your trial. Just remember, if this turns out to be a big waste of time, don't say I didn't warn you. Very well. The witness may now begin his testimony. I'd like to call the fucking bellboy to the stand. I'd like to call Jerome to the stand. As I recall, Neil and I were questioning him that day. To make a long story short, we slipped up. That power outage didn't help either. When I went to my office, I found Lana there. Apparently, she had already arranged the crime scene. As you can see, I had nothing to do with the forgery. Is that when Dark was arrested? Him? He was lying on the floor unconscious. I'd like to call Phoenix Wright to the stand. When Emma sent Neil flying, it seems Dark bumped his head. I see. Everything seems pretty clear-cut. If the police chief has the right to refuse to testify, then I'd better hit him hard and fast. As I recall, a ceremony was held at the police department that day. Yes, that's right. I guess you could say I'm a workaholic. After winning his award, Neil was all fired up too. That's probably what spooked Dark and made him run away like that. Was the defendant Lana Skye also present in the room? I don't quite remember. At the very least, she wasn't there when Dark ran for it. I'd like to call Manfred von Karma to the stand. So the two of you ran immediately after him, right? That's right, but Dark made it to the elevator first, so Neil and I split up. He went upstairs and I went downstairs, I guess you could say. He got lucky. What's this about a power outage? Oh, the elevator stopped all of a sudden, and I got the shock of my life. Well, probably not as shocked as Neil was when that knife went into his heart, though. That's not funny. Could you tell us what you saw? I like to call the Steel Samurai to the stand. It was a shocking sight. Again, if he was stabbed in the heart, this is more on his right side. Your heart is on your left side. Whatever. Whatever. Neil and that serial killer were lying in a heap on the floor, all tangled together. Dark was also lying collapsed on the floor. Yes, apparently he hit his head and was knocked out. Next to them were those two poor girls, Lana and Emma. Lana was cradling Emma in her arms. Looking back at it now, she must have already known what her sister had done. I'd like to call Wendy Oldbag to the stand. And then I'd like to call Jesus to the stand. How can you know that? Because of the victim's body. It had already been moved. So that means you found the body near Lana's desk. That's right. I think you said earlier it was my suit of armor that really stabbed the prosecutor. Yes. Anyway, as you can see, I had nothing to do with the forgery. So you're saying that the forgery had already taken place by the time you arrived at your office. That's exactly what I'm saying. I can understand how Lana must have felt, but moving a body and hiding evidence are inexcusable no matter what the circumstances. Is that how it really went down? Staring at the witness won't do you any good, Mr. Wright. If you're going to stare at anything, you'd be better off staring at the court record. Worthy, always a smooth talker. But which piece of evidence ties Gant to the forgery? Lana did admit to forging evidence, but that can't be the whole truth. Somehow I've got to link Gant to the incident. I like to call the Holy Spirit to the stand. Let's see, I probably present on this specific dialogue. No evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department. Unregistered evidence presented must be relevant to the case on trial. So I guess Rule 2 is kind of your workaround of Rule 1. Because if it's not approved by the police department, it has to be relevant to the case on trial for it to be accepted. Alright. Hey Brandon, you put a space in between the exclamation mark and Pokecatch. It should be one word, by the way, so you should retype that before your unknown goes off into the wilderness. I wonder if I show this. There you go. Found in Chief Kent's safe. Evidence for something, but what? Why can't I check this? I can also turn around. I don't even know if would I show this too? Half of this list was found in Gant's desk. Gant kept this for some reason. I'm gonna try the piece of cloth. If you really had nothing to do with the forgery, then how do you explain this? What's that? And what's that on it? A handprint. Chief Gant, your explanation, please. I don't know. You tell me, son. Huh? My dear Righto, don't you know? The second rule of evidence law? Not this again. Evidence law. Rule 2. Unregistered evidence presented must be relevant to the case on trial. Tell me, how is that rag relevant to this case? It appears the defense was not prepared. I guess it's too early to use this piece of evidence. Please accept my profound apologies, Chief. Would you mind giving the defense another chance? Well, okay. I'll do it just this once, but only because you asked, Udgy. Thank you. I assure you the defense is terribly sorry. Yeah, sorry I didn't nail you. Okay. So I present something else first. Gant likes men. All right, that'll really get him going in the trial. Wonder if I show him this then. You claim you had nothing to do with the forgery, but I'm afraid that is a claim you cannot back up. Explain yourself. Several pieces of evidence were found in your office. Take this list, for example. That's the list Emma Skye drew her picture on. This was discovered in your desk. Not only that, but a piece of this jar that was sitting in your office. I'm about to Manfred von Karma his ass? What does that mean? It was found inside your safe. It was found where? You see, Chief Gant, these articles of evidence uncovered in your office are both concrete proof that you also played a part in the illegal investigation. Chief Gant, what's the meaning of this? Oh, here's a defense attorney who may even rival Worthy. So you admit to it then, that you were involved in the forgery. Who, me? Or do you mean you? Me? Why would I have anything to do with that? Well, you were the one who snuck into my office when you found this evidence. Prosecutors aren't the only ones capable of forging evidence, you know. Defense attorneys can do so too. Isn't that right, Righto? Don't worry about it? Okay. However, Detective Gumshoe is present during the investigation. Worthy, my boy. Not even detectives are exempt from the law. Rest assured, Dick will receive his due punishment. What? Detective Gumshoe seller drops any further, he'll end up paying to work. Yes, well, in light of the detective's presence, please give us your testimony regarding these pieces of evidence found in your office, and their relation to the forgery that took place at the crime scene. My, kids these days no longer know how to put two and two together. Kids these days, the judge doesn't know how to put two and two together. He can't put one and one together. Let's see, what was it now? A jar fragment and a list. For all I know, you could have planted them in my office. Anyway, you can't prove when those pieces of evidence were discovered. If they were found after Dark was convicted, then they're worthless. There's no reason I'd participate in a forgery. Rearranging the crime scene wouldn't help me out in any way. Mr. Wright, yes, Your Honor. When investigating the crime scene, you should have been more careful to observe protocol. You do understand that I am the chief of police, right? There will be consequences. Oh. Indeed, I believe I'll press charges, so that you won't make the same mistake again. My apologies, Chief. But would you mind waiting until tomorrow for that? Today is, well, you know. All right, Udgy. In return, though, I know. That place, right? Huh? What are these guys, telepathic? I appreciate it if you'd stop making these ridiculous allegations. Yes, you do have a point. You wouldn't have the guts to do something like that. What? I'll have you know, back in the day, I once broke into a cattle ranch and tipped Mr. Wright. What are you saying? Anyway, you can't prove you didn't carry in the evidence, can you? If you had proof to the contrary, you're going to need it later. Later? What are you talking about? What else? I'm talking about when Wright's prints are found. Yes, if they're found inside my safe, they would prove his investigation was illegal. I've never faced anyone as slimy as this guy. What do you mean by that? This is all purely hypothetical, of course. But suppose I did place those items in my safe. Such an act wouldn't necessarily constitute forgery. If concealing evidence found at a crime scene isn't forgery, I'm not through speaking yet, righto? It all depends on when the evidence was discovered. Are you saying this jar fragment wasn't discovered in the initial investigation? It would appear not. After all, it wasn't listed in the evidence list. For all we know, it could have suddenly materialized the day after Dark was sentenced. Oh, and wouldn't that be convenient? Right. The chief is talking about a possibility, so long as you can't rule that out. Your remarks, however, clever they may be, will only succeed in wasting time. Tell me something I don't know. Come now, Righto. Think about it. How can you look me in the eye and say that? Because I'm innocent. Remember, who was it that murdered Neil? I'm not sure I care for the word murder here, but in the end, the person responsible for Mr. Marshall's unfortunate demise was Emma Skye. Well, now do you see? Really, Chief Gant, at the very least, there is one large benefit you've reaped from all this. Oh, I wasn't aware. What is this benefit? That would, of course, be the position you have, Chief of Police. Oh, the resolution of the SL9 incident secured your promotion to Chief. That in itself is sufficient motive. Ho, ho, ho. Santa Claus. Oh, that's a good one. Huh? Do you really think I'm not incompetent? What do you mean? Even without that case, I was already in line to become the next chief. The resolution of SL9 merely sped up the inevitable a little. Is that true, Edgeworth? Yes. He was going to be made chief anyway. Be careful when pointing that finger, or you might wind up being the one pointed at. So that means there's only one possible motivation for you to commit forgery. If you didn't do it for yourself, then you did it for someone else. Don't be silly, Worthy. You know me better than that. There are only 3 people I look out for. Me, myself, and I. Now it's out in the open. Now it's out in the open. Udgy, would you mind if I change my testimony a little? By all means, please do. I wouldn't be anyone's accomplice if there was nothing in it for me. Nothing in it for you? Sorry, but the only person I care about is yours truly. That girl, Lana's little sister, was it? If you think I felt sorry for her, you better think again. You're right, you don't feel sorry for anyone. Be tough on crime and tough on people. That's how I was raised. You seem to be lax enough on yourself, though. Oh, that's a good one, Worthy. Could there have been something in it for him? Given his selfishness, would he have helped someone else? Sure, you might not help out anyone for their sake, but if it would benefit you, you might decide to assist someone. Mr. Wright, it appears you're positively determined to portray the chief as a nice man who likes to help people lend people a hand. That's not what I mean. Very well then. Who is this person you believe Chief Gant may have helped forge evidence? Take that! Chief Prosecutor Lana Skye, the defendant. I believe it's quite obvious, in light of the circumstances. Emma Skye fell victim to an unfortunate series of events. Who would want to help her more than her own sister Lana? And as for Chief Gant, he would also have a reason to help Lana if she asked him to. That reason, of course, is self-profit. Self-profit? What do you mean? After the SL9 incident was resolved, Lana Skye was appointed chief prosecutor at the prosecutor's office. The person who arranged this job change was you, Chief Gant. But how would he profit from all this? He would be able to use the chief prosecutor as his puppet. Essentially, he would acquire unchecked authority over all investigations. Do you mean to tell me that despite the chief's formidable appearance, he plays with puppets? Judge, what the fuck? Oh wait, you must mean okay, see you later. Admit it, Chief. You assisted Lana Skye in forging evidence. Your motive to appoint her as chief prosecutor so you can control her. Right, oh my boy, you have quite an imagination. Let me ask you something. What? Do you have any proof of this? That I controlled Lana? For example, is Lana testifying that I've done such a thing? Lana. She's keeping quiet to protect Emma. There's no way she'd testify against Gant. I'm afraid without any proof, this all amounts to nothing but more than mere conjecture. Unless that is also what happened in this incident. This incident? Which one would that be? Of course, I'm talking about the murder of Detective Bruce Goodman. The chief prosecutor has been acting strange throughout this entire trial, almost as if someone has been controlling her. Worthy, you'd better watch your tongue. I wouldn't want you to get hurt. Just what do you mean? What he means, Your Honor, is that Chief Gant is involved in the murder of Detective Goodman. Not only that, but the chief is now making Lana take the rap to cover up his involvement. Whoa, 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 what? Order, order, order. I said order. Mr. Wright, you can't be serious, huh? This is an affront to the highest ranking officer in our law enforcement agency. To accuse the chief of police of blackmail and murder, that's impossible. Your Honor, I was merely reiterating. Hold on, I need to fix this because it's bothering me that it's like this now. There we go, it's good. What Mr. Edgeworth said in easier to understand language. It's too late, Mr. Wright. There's no turning back for us now. Looks like he's the one who's decided to go through with this. Can you prove this, Mr. Wright, that the chief, a high-ranking officer of the law, is involved in this murder? Good question. Regardless of his rank or title, Chief Gant is just a man. The question is he a criminal? I believe the evidence will tell. I see. All right then. Let's see what Mr. Wright's got, and it better be good. Show us this evidence that ties Chief Gant to the murder of Detective Goodman. Bro, I don't know. Did I already present this piece of cloth? Do I present the knife? I'm sure I just present this screwdriver because it was brought back to evidence from a past case of Edgeworth's, brought back to his office by Gant's request. Gant was the reason that Edgeworth went to the prosecutor's office. Because if his body was already in the trunk of his car, like Lana said, that means he was killed at the police station where the ceremony was happening, where Edgeworth won the King of Prosecutors trophy. Gant tells Edgeworth to go back to the prosecutor's office with the screwdriver. He drives back there, gets the parking stub. Lana Skye is there. She switches out this knife, throws it in the defendant's muffler, or in Edgeworth's muffler for his car, switches it out for this knife. And then that's when Angel Starr took this picture. There's also the other picture that we can't see for some reason. I don't know if... Is it this one? No. Show us this evidence that ties Chief Gant to the murder of Detective Goodman. Can I check this? Oh, I can, yeah, okay. I almost wanna say the screwdriver, I'm being honest. I mean, I have multiple strikes, so with the multiple strikes, I have multiple chances. I'm gonna try the screwdriver first, because that would play. If the body was already in Edgeworth's trunk, then they needed a reason to bring the body to the prosecutor's office, and that would be the screwdriver. I'm gonna do the screwdriver. Well, Chief, I'm also just gonna save the game real quick. So long as Righto here is tossing out things regardless of their relevance. Mind if I toss something to Udgy? This shoe should do nicely. I'll chuck it right at you. You always were quite the joker, weren't you? Oops, looks like I got it wrong. All right. So it wasn't that. That's fine. But try to think back to what happened in the evidence room 4 days ago. Now that he mentions it, we did find something during yesterday's investigation, something that proves Gant entered that room. Okay. I didn't even think about that, I'm gonna be honest. I honestly didn't even think about this, because he entered the evidence room. This is the ID card list. Yes, the one that shows who entered the evidence room on the crime of the day, or the day of the crime. There was one ID on the list we couldn't determine the owner of yesterday. 7777777. Sorry, but there's no way you can prove that's my card number. It's your number. What? How'd you know that? The safe in Chief Gant's office requires a code to open. A 7-digit code. 7 digits. You don't mean... I'm afraid so, Your Honor. The code was 777777. The same as the remaining ID card number on that list. Chief Gant, you entered the evidence room on the day of the crime. Order. Chief Gant, what do you have to say? Nothing. The defense's search of my office was in violation of regulations, and I will demand Mr. Wright be punished to the maximum extent of the law. But right now, this court demands an explanation from you about the use of this ID card. Chief Gant, so you admit it. You entered the evidence room on the day of the crime. What about it? I'm the chief of police, whether it's the evidence room or the bathroom. What's the difference? I can go anywhere I want. Tell me, when you entered the room, were you alone? I always go to the bathroom alone, as I do at the evidence room. Detective Goodman wouldn't have happened to be with you that day, would he? Of course not. Why would he be? I hadn't seen him in days. You hadn't seen him in days, Chief Gant. I'm afraid you've just undone yourself. On that day, you had to have met with Detective Goodman. What do you mean? This trial's purpose is to determine Lana Sky's guilt. No, it isn't, Your Honor. This trial's purpose is to determine the truth. And Chief Gant met the victim on the day of the crime. Then we need to determine one thing. What transpired during that meeting? In that case, Mr. Wright, I'm gonna have to ask you for evidence. Show us proof that the victim went to meet Chief Gant on the day of the crime. Maybe this? I still have multiple strikes, so... It could even be this. If he needed to get into the evidence room but lost his ID card, then and if the chief just happened to be there, he could have had the chief let him in. Yeah, it's either the note or the lost item report. I'll start with the note. They didn't like that answer. Alright. I'll just save the game real quick. Oops. Detective had to go see Chief Man. Oh, yeah. So it is the lost item. Perhaps we could write up your letter of termination. Regardless, you did see Detective Goodman that day. He had a reason to see the chief. It would have been to get a new ID card, probably. Detective Goodman lost his ID card on the day of the crime. Or to be more accurate, Jake Marshall stole it. So Detective Goodman filed out a lost item report. He would have to give that report to the chief of police. Yet you are in possession of that report, which means you can't be sure if he filed it. He filed it. How do you know, you ask? Because he needed to enter the evidence room that day. He needed to? Yes, to transfer the evidence out. Oh. Detective Goodman took the form to you, Chief Gant. Then, you accompanied the detective to the evidence room. I accompanied him. There's no other way that the murderer and the Detective Goodman could have entered the room. Hold on, let me guess what you're going to say next. I, the chief of police, murdered poor Goodman. Exactly. But wait, the chief didn't necessarily need to accompany him to the evidence room. He could have just lent him his ID card. Yes, now that you mention it. Sorry, but that's not possible. According to the record, your card was only used once. Yeah, you showed us your ID card earlier. If you had really lent it to Detective Goodman, it would have been found on his body. He fucking became a literal lightning strike for a moment there. Chief Gant, you didn't. The murder was most likely a spur-of-the-moment crime, for no one in their right mind would choose the police department as a place to commit murder. After the murder, you contacted Lana at the prosecutor's office. Why? To dispose of Detective Goodman's body, of course. You're forgetting, Mr. Wright, that the victim's body was discovered in the prosecutor's office's parking lot. How did he manage to move it there? I was at the police department the entire day, you know, and everyone's aware that Lana stayed at the prosecutor's office after the ceremony. Everyone except me, it seems. Still, you're the chief of police. You have an entire police force at your disposal. Oh, so you think I just ordered an officer to do it? Hey, you, take this here dead body over to the prosecutor's office. I don't think so. Chief Gant, you left all the evidence we need to prove how you moved the body to the prosecutor's office. And all this time, I thought it was just a useless clue, just taking up space. How could the chief have moved the body? Mr. Wright, show us this evidence. To move the victim's body, Chief Gant used this. Now it's the screwdriver. This is how he moved Detective Goodman's body. What's that? A screwdriver. But what does that have to do with this case? Mr. Edgeworth, think back to the day of the crime. What is this screwdriver doing here? It's here because I was asked to go by Chief Gant, no less. Let me save the game again. I'm gonna just keep saving the game. He told me he wanted me to keep it here in the prosecutor's office. In any case, on the day of the stabbings, I brought this back here. After the ceremony ended that day, I didn't plan to return to the prosecutor's office, but you did, because Chief Gant asked you to. You mean the body was found in the trunk of Mr. Edgeworth's car. I think it's obvious what happened. The body was moved by that car. Detective Goodman's body was carried in the trunk of Mr. Edgeworth's car. Yes, unless, of course, you have another explanation, Chief. Why else would you have asked Mr. Edgeworth to transport evidence from a closed case? There's only one plausible explanation: to transport the body to your accomplice, Miss Lana Skye. Order. What's going on here? Is there no room for rebuttal in the defense's outrageous accusations? Think back to the photograph that Starr took at the prosecutor's office. This was not a photo of the body being stuffed in the trunk to be taken away. It was exactly the opposite. It was a photo of the body being taken from the trunk. Chief Gant, please say something. I believe your time's up. My time's up. Sorry, Righto, but I'm having lunch with the District Attorney General after this. We have to get going if we're going to make it in time for the early bird special. But the cross-examination isn't finished yet. Remember what I told you earlier? A police chief has all kinds of weapons at its disposal. Weapons like the right to refuse to testify. I'm invoking that right now. What? That is not a right to be casually invoked. There are certain risks to be considered. So you're going to just run away after all this? Run away? Don't make me laugh, Worthy. I stabbed old Goodman, that's what you're saying, right? But if you had any conclusive evidence, you would have presented it by now. Well, you think I had Lana dispose of the body? If so, then show your proof and get it over with. I'll say it again, Mr. Wright. Damon Gant is the current chief of police. This court will not tolerate any accusations against him without concrete proof. Well, Mr. Wright, Your Honor, do you have any concrete proof? Proof that Chief Gant murdered Detective Goodman and made this guy dispose of his body. Do I have any concrete proof? I can't let him out, just squirm his way out of this. I've got to keep the pressure on. Yes, Your Honor, I do have such evidence. Then please hurry up and present it. Just remember, It better prove Chief Gant murdered Detective Goodman beyond a shadow of a doubt. It better prove Chief Gant murdered Detective Goodman without beyond a shadow of a doubt. I haven't presented the note yet. I can't flip it around, so there's nothing on the back. I can check this, but that's not going to give me anything useful. The Chief Gant wears gloves, so it's not like we're gonna get his gloves on this. Find his gloves on this knife. Lana said that this knife was what killed Goodman. She just switched the knife out. Can only be submitted to the chief of police. If I read that earlier, I probably would have not taken that one strike before. I have two ideas. It's either the note. There's no reason for it to be the autopsy report, I don't think. I think it's either the note or this switchblade knife. Those are my two guesses right now. Because nothing else makes sense to me. I don't know why it would be anything from this. Well, I'll just try the note, I guess. So, or what exactly is this evidence? It's proof as to whether or not it's enough to demonstrate the chief's guilt. I'll let you be the judge, but I am the judge. All right. Well, what do you think, Your Honor? What do I think, Mr. Wright? Is I'm going to be late for lunch. Oh, okay. Never mind. Let's see. I wonder if I even have proof. Wonder, is this one of those situations where I just straight up say, no, I don't have anything? Try the knife. Exactly. Let's see, no. Let's see. I don't even know. I can't think of anything else. Do I show the ID card record again? Because we know he entered the room? No, let's see. Let's just load the game. Dude, nice music. It'd be really weird if I show the evidence law. Let's see. Fuck it! Looking it up. Okay, so I do actually say I have no proof. No, Your Honor, at present I have no conclusive evidence. See, Udgy? In that case, this court is forced to penalize you for your allegations against the chief. What? Here's a tip. Never gamble what you can't afford to lose, Righto. It seems that Lady Luck was on my side again today. Okay, Udgy, I'll leave the rest to you. I warned you earlier, Mr. Wright. This is an affront to a senior officer in our nation's law enforcement agency. Lady Luck, Maybe we should have a word with her. Mr. Edgeworth, what do you mean? There's one lady who knows the real truth behind this trial. We have yet had the honor of hearing her testimony. A lady who knows the truth, another witness. In the absence of conclusive evidence, the only other method of proof is testimony. But Chief Gant has invoked his right to refuse to testify. There's still someone else, one more witness who can answer all the questions raised in this trial. Someone right in this very room. Mr. Edgeworth, who is this person? Why are you asking me, Your Honor? Have you forgotten? The defense is the one calling witnesses today. Mr. Wright, does such a witness exist? She may not be willing to tell the truth, but we can't just stop now. Yes, Your Honor. The defense calls forth Lana Sky. The defendant, Miss Lana Sky. She was in the underground parking lot at 5:15 p.m. on February 21st. Her task to dispose of the victim's body. In accordance with a certain someone's orders. Mr. Edgeworth, the prosecution has no objections, Your Honor. Very well, the court will now take its final recess for the day. In 15 minutes, we will reconvene to hear the defendant's testimony. This court is now in... Hold on. Huh? Chief Gant, I thought you were going to eat. Listen good, Lana. He's talking to Lana. I don't think you need me to tell you this, but if you accept Mr. Wright's claims, there will be terrible consequences. That's right. Your sister will be found guilty for Neil Marshall's murder. Ah, this isn't good. Of course, you'd never support such outrageous claims anyway, right? Just something to think about. All right, then. I've got a lunch date to meet. Because that wasn't fucking suspicious at all. We're not going to question that? No. Okay, if there aren't any further objections, this court is now in recess. Looks like we managed to stay in the game. Yeah, thanks to your help, Edgeworth. That chief, he's something else, eh, pals? Detective Gumshoe. Haha, I'm not a detective anymore. Oh yeah, sorry about that. Ah, don't worry, I've already decided where to work now. At your office. My office? Sure, I'll take that. The place of that top-knotted girl you used to work with. Could he mean my... Still looks like we're all out of moods now. Chief Gant's done it again. How is it he always gets the upper hand? It's not fair. He has the right to refuse to testify. Settle down, right? Remember what the judge said? But Chief, that is not a right to be casually invoked. There are certain risks to be considered. Risks? What did he mean by that? It's simple. If the Chief refuses to testify, the opposite also holds true. You mean he forfeits his right to say anything too. Hey, what's up? Emma, are you okay? Yeah, when I came to, I was in the medical office. I've been listening to the trial from the gallery. So she heard everything that's been going on. Emma, I'm sorry for what I said before. No, don't be. It was the truth. You know, it's funny. I almost feel somehow relieved. Relieved? Yeah. Now I finally know what really happened. To think that all this time, my sister was being blackmailed by that terrible man. And she did it all just to protect me. Ever since her appointment as chief prosecutor, everyone who knew her said she changed. Perhaps it was easier that way for her. What do you mean? What do you think I mean? To follow Chief Gant's orders. She must have shut herself up deep inside, to force herself to do anything and everything that Chief told her to do. That must be why she became so cold. It was all my fault. It's all because I murdered Mr. Marshall. Hey, don't go blaming yourself now. If you want to blame anyone, blame society, pal. Chief Gant may be able to fool everyone else with his forgery, but he can't fool my memory. I remember now. I knocked Mr. Marshall into that armor. I see. Well, we'd better get back. It's time for the final act. Emma, why don't you wait here? No, I'm going with you. I want to be there when Lana tells the truth. Let's go, Wright. It's time to end this. Fucking to be continued again. Nice quote, Henry. Now then, will the defendant, Miss Lana Skye, please take the stand? Miss Lana Skye, you are the chief prosecutor. I'm sure you're aware of what is required of you. Mr. Edgeworth, you already know everything. You know all that I've done these past 2 years. Please provide the court with your testimony, Miss Skye. And remember, you are under oath. We want to hear the truth. Of course, the truth. Lana, no matter what happens, I'll always be your sister. Now then, your testimony, if you will. First, tell us about your relationship with Chief Gant. Everything hinges on your testimony. You're the only chance we have to get Gant. I worked alongside Gant for years. There's no truth to this blackmail theory. I fabricated the evidence 2 years ago all by myself. When I found Prosecutor Marshall's body, I rearranged the crime scene. My only motivation was to get Dark convicted. It had nothing to do with Emma. Are you sure about this testimony? Your Honor, I'm confessing to a capital offense. Of course I'm sure. But Lana, if this is true, then that means Chief Gant has nothing to do with this. That's what I've been telling you from the beginning. Please, Mr. Wright, you've got to help her. She's sacrificing herself because of me. But what if she's telling the truth? She's not. I know my own sister. Whenever she speaks stiffly like that, she's hiding something inside. Deep down, she's really screaming in agony. Yeah, this is no time to start second-guessing myself. The defense may now begin its cross-examination. I worked alongside Gant for years. Oh, hold on. This is the actual pressing time. How many years exactly? Ever since I made senior detective. Let's see, I was 24 then, so that would be 5 years. Detective Gant and Detective Skye were legendary partners. I personally saw them testify in numerous cases. She must have been good coming from the same school as Mia. Damon Gant was a respectable detective, that's why. There's no truth to this blackmail theory. But think about it, Miss Skye. You didn't murder Detective Goodman. You told me as such yesterday in jail. You still don't get it, do you, Mr. Wright? Any testimony you cannot present in court is as useless as idle gossip. I stabbed Detective Goodman with a knife. And... did you do so to help your sister? Joe Dark was a serial killer. My sister almost became his last victim that day. I didn't want that incident to ruin her life. But what she did was justifiable self-defense. She wouldn't have been charged with anything. That's not the point. She was traumatized that day, all because of that creep. That's why I couldn't forgive him. Lana, so that's why you fabricated the evidence 2 years ago. You say you did this all by yourself. Yes. Would you mind telling us what you found when you arrived at the crime scene? It seems I was the first person to discover the scene. The broken prosecutor award knife was stuck in the victim's body. What? But Prosecutor Marshall died from an unfortunate accident. That's only a situation you dreamed was possible. The reality is it wasn't my sister who took the prosecutor's life. Fantasize all you want, Mr. Wright, but I'll never change this statement. You mean Prosecutor Marshall wound up being killed by Dark? Something like that. If that is so, what happened to the other murder weapon? Dark was carrying a switchblade knife. Oh, that was lying on the floor a little distance away. It was probably knocked away in the struggle. That's not how it went down. She's trying to cover up her lies with more lies. All just to protect me. So when you found the scene like this, what did you do? After all, this is what everything boils down to. Yes. I broke off the tip of Dark's knife, planted it inside the wound, and moved the body. You planted the tip of Dark's knife in the victim's wound, and then you moved the body? But why? Why would you do that? You, of all people, should know, Edgeworth. You've always had a good head on your shoulders. My head isn't that bad, but maybe I ought to ask for the sake of others. When you showed up on the scene, where exactly was the victim's body? It was where you deduced it was, by Chief Gant's desk. But the body was found by your desk. Why did you move it there? The reason for that is simple. Let's have the witness explain this in more detail. The reason Miss Guy moved the body. The pieces of the jar that shattered during the events threatened my plan. The pieces of the jar, you mean? Yes, that wretched jar you showed us earlier. In order to show that Dark committed the crime, I felt it would have been more expedient to move the body. So when you first found the body, the jar was already... Of course, it had been shattered to pieces. If you look at the crime scene, it would be clear right away what happened. Neil Marshall was dead, and Dark was lying unconscious. In other words, the jar must have been broken during the struggle. I see. What's the matter, Emma? Apparently the jar shattered at the time the crime was committed, but I have a feeling there is more to it than that. There must be a contradiction here somewhere. Anyway, I completed this fabrication completely alone. So you rearranged the crime scene. Are you sure you didn't do this to keep Emma from looking like the murderer? How many times do I have to tell you, Mr. Wright? Emma didn't do it. Period. Why are you so desperate to hide that fact? You're willing to risk the death sentence. She's lying. She did it so I wouldn't be blamed for what happened. In any case, as a prosecutor, what I've done is unpardonable. There's nothing I can do to make up for my actions. Mr. Wright, my sister's lying. Looks like she's determined to protect you to the end. She insists she fabricated the evidence by herself. There's no way she could have done it alone. I've got to get Lana to talk more. If she's lying, then she's bound to slip up and make a contradiction. Huh. Oh, literally all the lines disappeared of where it was shattered. It probably... It couldn't have been in pieces already. Because if Emma was written on the surface in blood, that had to have happened when the jar was in place. Miss Guy, I understand how you feel. You committed that crime 2 years ago to protect your sister. You mean the forgery at the scene where Neil Marshall was murdered. If that truth were to be exposed now, the past 2 years of your life will have been in vain. Even so, I am compelled to bring to everyone's attention a significant contradiction within your testimony. Contradiction in my testimony? You testified, and I quote, "The pieces of the jar that shattered during the events threatened my plan." That's right. Do you have a problem with that? It's a simple oversight, really. You see, a message was written on this jar with the victim's blood. Yes, the prosecutor must have written it in his final moments. Exactly so, and this is where the contradiction lies. In order for the victim to be able to write his message on the jar, it must not have been broken before he died. He couldn't have written Emma's name on a shattered jar. Order. Your Honor, it would appear more information is needed in regard to this jar and its bloody message. We may be missing something critical here. Something critical. Chief Prosecutor, it seems you're as in the dark as we are about the truth towards which we're headed. What? Just tell us exactly what you saw. We'll piece together the information to arrive at the truth. Very well, the witness may now continue her testimony. I immediately noticed the blood traces on the jar, but it was dark in the room and I didn't have time to check it out. To be safe, I wiped away the blood. The fragments were large, so I'm sure I got them all. All I could think about was wiping them clean before they were discovered. You mean you were the one who wiped away the message in blood? I wasn't chief prosecutor at the time. She didn't think Dark was the real murderer. That's why she tried to erase the real evidence. Very well, the defense may now begin its cross-examination. Oh my goodness. So the jar was already broken. It's a miracle that thing hadn't broken earlier. It certainly looks as feeble as the defense's case, but not as feeble as the judge's judgment. You were an ace detective who never missed a detail. Do you really expect us to believe you didn't investigate what was written on the jar pieces? Normally I would have. So you didn't know your sister's name was written on the jar? No. If I had known, I would have gathered all the pieces and ground them to dust. Well, that helps my case. Lana, you do that for me? It seems you two might make up yet. Anyway, I just barely had enough time to move the body as it was. If someone happened upon the scene, you'd lose your chance to erase the evidence. You must have been in a hurry. I was. I knew I had to destroy the evidence before anyone came. This is rather shocking. I'm afraid this accident of yours reveals what really happened. What do you mean? If you really thought Dark killed Prosecutor Marshall, you wouldn't have wiped away the blood. What else could I have done in this situation? Lana, I only had a few moments. There wasn't enough time for me to do anything else but gather up the pieces. But how could you see with the power out? It should have been pitch black in that office. The detective is always prepared, Mr. Wright. Even now, I always carry a pocket light and a camera with me. Even I carry a bottle of emergency luminol wherever I go. Because why not? I never miss anything. I got every last piece. So you illegally rearranged the crime scene. Yes, I don't have any excuse for my actions. I'm so sorry, Lana, I didn't know. I've treated you so badly all this time. It's not too late. There's still plenty of time to make up. After we've gotten to the bottom of this incident. No doubt this day will leave a permanent stain on the history of the prosecutor's office. More contradictions have surfaced in her testimony. Your sister's really putting up a fight. She must really care about you. Still, she's not doing this the right way. I think I finally figured out the contradictions in her testimony. There's one final possibility that might turn everything around. What did we say? Hold on. Your sister's really putting up a fight. She must really care about you. Still, she's not doing this in the right way. I think I finally figured out the contradictions in her testimony. There's one final possibility that might turn everything around. Hey, Phoenix, how about you fucking tell me, please? Ugh. I'd probably show this piece of cloth. Nope. Not correct. I'll try this cloth on other pieces of dialogue. Do I really present the jar again? Oops, I didn't mean to do that. There's one final possibility. Immediately noticed the blood traces on the jar, but it was dark in the room. I didn't have time to check it out. To be safe, I wiped away the blood. Fragments were large, so I'm sure I got them all. I fucking show the jar again? I believe this jar conceals a truth even you are unaware of. What? We found the final piece of this jar in Chief Gant's safe. In the chief's safe, but how? I knew it, she really didn't know. There's something even more disturbing about that final piece. There was still blood on it. But the witness just testified that she gathered every last piece and wiped the blood off of them. Yes, which leaves us with only one explanation. On the night Prosecutor Marshall was murdered, you were not the first one to show up on the scene. Chief Gant got there before you. But couldn't the defendant have simply missed a piece? I'm afraid that's unlikely. The pieces are too big for anyone to miss, let alone an ace detective. That may well be, but everyone makes mistakes. Even I once wasted an entire day looking for my dentures. They were in my mouth all along. Fucking listen here, matey. Have you forgotten, Your Honor? When this witness arrived at the scene, the jar was already broken. Oh, that. There's no way a name could have been written on a shattered jar. Another person discovered the scene prior to the witness. I hope you're not implying that this person was Chief Gant. At the time, he was looking for Dark downstairs. The question is, if he did arrive there first, why did he hide that fact for 2 years? Well, Your Honor, can you answer us that? No. Wait, I'm not the one on trail here. Damon Gant arrived at the crime scene prior to the witness. He proceeded to break the jar. And purposely hid one of the broken pieces. Question, what is this action called? Fabrication of evidence. But why would Chief Gant do that? In light of what happened afterwards, isn't it clear? What happened afterwards? Discovering the scene, Lana Skye believes her sister Emma killed the victim. Determined to help her sister, she sought Gant's aid. Lending her his aid, Gant helped her create evidence that incriminated Dark, sparing Emma, and therein lies the reason why Miss Skye became the Chief's puppet. Man, bit her thumb so hard, bet she's gonna fucking turn into a titan. Calm down there, Aaron. No, I did it all on my own. Please, sis, stop trying to protect the Chief. I can't watch you suffer anymore for my sake. No, you didn't. It wasn't you, Emma. You didn't kill anyone. Don't believe anything Mr. Wright says. Defense attorneys make up their most foul lies to defend their clients. Foul lies? Imagine that coming from my own client. I guess you do seem the type that who likes to twist the truth? Wait a minute. What if we're still smack dab in the middle of Gant's trap? Is something wrong, Mr. Wright? Lana, maybe right after all. What do you mean, right? So you do tell foul lies to Mr. Wright. Miss Skye, please testify once more. But if evidence was fabricated behind your back, then Emma's accidental killing of Prosecutor Marshall might also be a lie. But I do remember knocking over Mr. Marshall, Miss Skye, if you will. I can't. There's nothing to be afraid of anymore. This cross-examination may not change a thing. However, there is a possibility that it will if you tell the truth. Very well. I'll testify about what I really saw. All right. The witness may testify once more for the final time. Man, this is like, why is it's so common apparently to go, I'll testify about what I really saw. Because I really saw this 8 times actually. When I arrived, I found Mr. Marshall's body impaled on that suit of armor sword. Emma and Dark were lying unconscious on the floor nearby. When I saw what happened, I thought she did it. That's why I erased all the evidence that linked her to the murder. I had Chief Gant help me remove the body from the sword and carry it. To be completely honest, dead weight is fucking heavy. I seriously doubt Lana moved the body. But if it all really was a fabrication, Emma might be innocent. Unbelievable, the body was impaled on this armor sword. You were the only one who saw that, if only you had proof. Actually, I do have proof. I gave it to Mr. Wright just this morning. What, to me? It's a picture I found of the crime scene as I encountered it. I thought it might be needed, but I don't remember receiving a picture like that. Lana must have known. See, Mr. Wright? She really does have faith in you. Very well, Mr. Wright. Please present this picture. I don't remember receiving any pictures from Lana. Lana said she gave it to you this morning, right? I seem to remember getting something from her then. Let's check that evidence again. There must be a picture in there somewhere. Am I going to open this book up? Oh, what a cute little logo. Alright, how do you open book? Ah, yes. Okay. Hey, there's a picture here. Oh my. This is the actual crime scene. Look at, a piece of his cloth has been, a piece of his shirt has been cut out. Which would be, this cloth right here. No other detective saw the crime scene like this, because I contacted Criminal Affairs only after I rearranged everything. Mr. Wright, that piece cut out from his vest, could that be the cloth we found inside Chief Gant's safe? What's this? This is a handprint, isn't it? That cloth, it had fingerprints on it. Whosever fingerprints those are must be the real murderer. What? But those fingerprints, they're yours, Emma. Why are your lips turning all purple, Mr. Wright? Anyway, let's get on with the cross-examination. So long as you tell the truth, we should be able to flesh out the real murderer. Very well. The defense may now begin its cross-examination. When I arrived, I found Mr. Marshall's body impaled on that... Okay. Hey, what's up, dude? Baseball theme! Come now, Udgy. This is the poorest excuse for a trial I've ever seen. Chief Gant. What, now you want to make me out as the bad guy too? If so, I'd like to put in a word or two in my defense. I'm afraid it's too late for that. What? You already declined to testify. That means you forfeited your right to make statements of any sort. This must be that risk we were talking about earlier. Just sit back, relax, and enjoy the sound of the noose tighten around your own neck. You became lightning again. So what? You think I'm worried? Sorry to disappoint you, but I don't need to make any statements. What do you mean? The evidence will do all the talking for me. Even if I can't testify, I can still present evidence. Yes, that's true. Wait, you mean you still have some conclusive evidence? No, I don't. But someone does. Someone? So, what's your excuse, Righto? Why have you been keeping quiet about it? You do have something to show us, right? Something that proves who knocked over Neil Marshall, causing his death? Conclusive evidence that leaves no room for doubt. This is true, Mr. Wright. If I show that piece of evidence now, Emma's sure to be made out as the murderer. Mr. Wright, if you have any more evidence, present it now. And if you try to conceal anything, you will be the one appearing before the Board of Inquiries. What do I do now? I'd better think this through carefully. I can't afford to make the wrong decision. Should I present that piece of evidence? The one that shows who really killed Prosecutor Marshall? I'm gonna save twice. I'm gonna save there and I'm gonna save here. Mainly because I want to know what happens if I say both of these. But I'm gonna do show evidence first. Yes, Your Honor, I do have further evidence. All right, the time's finally come to show it then. Those prints have got to be the Chief's. Now then, let's see this conclusive evidence. The evidence that shows who actually murdered Prosecutor Marshall. of leather cloth. Yes, it most likely was cut from the victim's vest near his chest. What's this? There's a big handprint on it. Surely it must have been left on the cloth by whoever shoved the victim into the sword. What? Whose fingerprints are on this? I'm sure Righto has checked, haven't you? Well, whose are they? They're Miss Sky's. Miss Emma Sky's. What? They're mine? So I really did do it. See, I told you it was conclusive. But this was found in your safe. That means it's possible you forged it. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't remember any cloth in my safe. Do you really expect me to believe that? But give it up, Mr. Wright, it's over. You shouldn't have presented that. By presenting that evidence, you tied Emma Sky to Neil Marshall's death. It appears we have our killer. In the end, Lana alone was fucking okay. Well, I'm not surprised that happened, I'm gonna be honest. I really did want to see what happened with both of them. It just fucking brings me back here. That's funny. Alright. Your Honor, I don't have any evidence I can present at this point in time. What? You lie. Chief Gant, you opened my safe. I know you took what was inside, the conclusive evidence. I don't know what you're talking about. Mr. Wright, why don't you show them? We found it together. Oh, I see. It's because you know the truth, don't you? You know whose fingerprints are on it. That's why you won't present it. What are you talking about? Chief Gant. Can't you figure it out? Take a good look at this picture. See the victim's vest? Notice anything odd about the chest area? It looks like part of it's been cut out for some reason. You mean you had this in your safe? What? That means you, the chief of police, have been concealing evidence. This is going to be the biggest scandal in the history of the police department. Impressive. To be honest, I didn't think you had the gall, Righto. Well, I can't just let you pin me up as the murderer. I'll tell you what really happened. What? You mean you admit to it? I was the first person to arrive at the crime scene that day. It then occurred to me that I could use the situation to control Lana. So you really were manipulating her. I knew Lana. If I made it look like the blame lay with her sister, that when she saw the scene, she would ask for my aid. Nuh-uh, you can't testify. I don't think this is actually a testimony. That when she saw the scene, she would ask for my aid. So you assisted Miss Sky. I told her to arrange all the evidence. I had her plant the knife tip in the victim's body and move the body across the room. And I guess if he actually is confessing to the crime, this is a confession of some sort. They probably can't not let him confess. And I ended up using that evidence to get Joe Dark convicted. When I tampered with the crime scene, I had 2 pieces of evidence. This was before Lana arrived at the scene, mind you. 2 pieces of evidence. You mean those items in your safe. But why? For insurance, of course. Insurance. I was sure my plan would work, but it's always best to be prepared for the worst. I wasn't about to let anyone blame me for a murder that girl committed. You mean you were calculating that far ahead while forging the evidence? What do you take me for, a fool? I didn't make police chief by dumb luck. See this jar fragment? I hit the most legible part of Emma's name. I didn't expect Lana to go and wipe the blood off all the pieces. But if you fabricated all the evidence, what's to say you didn't fabricate the message on this jar too? Some people just don't know when to quit, do they? That's why I kept one more item for insurance. You mean that piece of cloth? Come on, Righto, cough it up already. I know you have it. What are you waiting for, Mr. Wright? So you admit to it then, Chief Gant, that you were hiding the cloth you cut off the victim's vest in your safe. Yes, I admit it. I didn't want to have to do that, being chief and all, but it's a lot better than being portrayed as a murderer. Well, Mr. Wright, what do you have to say for yourself? Just a moment ago, you said you didn't have any evidence you could present. Foolish move, Righto. You should have shown it then, before it was too late. It's been a long battle. But the moment of truth has finally arrived. As long as I don't mess up here, victory is mine. I'm sure now I say, show evidence. But again, I kind of want to see what happens if I just take it and not show evidence. If I'm just like, nah. No, it's too late to show the evidence now. Besides, even if I did, it just exposed that poor girl's fingerprints. Right. Think hard over the circumstances. The circumstances. I'm talking about then and now. There's one major difference between the two. Weren't you waiting for that difference? So, Edwards figured out my plan. Mr. Wright, this is your only chance. Your Honor, I do have evidence to present now. Alright then, let's see this conclusive evidence. The evidence that shows who actually murdered Prosecutor Marshall. Oh yeah! Oh yeah! Okay, didn't mean to... Let me verify this once more. On the day of the crime, you personally cut out this piece of the victim's vest. Oh yes. At last, you've finally brought it out into the open. There's a handprint on this piece of cloth. Your Honor, the prosecution requests that be immediately sent to the lab for analysis. This handprint on the leather, there must have been a strong impact for it to be left so clearly. You mean, it could not have been forged, it must be authentic, conclusive evidence. Ho ho ho! You're as slow on the uptake as ever, Worthy. What? Think about it, Wright had all this time to present this evidence. Yet, he was reluctant to do so. Why would that be? You mean you already know? You know whose fingerprints are on that. Mr. Wright, do you really know? Whoever the fingerprints must belong to must be the real murderer. Whose fingerprints are they? Very well, I'll tell you. It should be okay now. Everything's proceeding as predicted. The person to whom these fingerprints belong to is... I'm sure I actually tell the truth. Emma Skye? What? They're mine? I'm sorry, Emma, but why? Why didn't you tell me? Ho ho ho! You're really something, Righto? You knew this girl did it all along, and you still tried to pin the murder on me. So it's true, tragic but true. This girl really did shove Prosecutor Marshall to his death. How could you? You monster. Miss Skye? You knew whose fingerprints those were all along, yet you acted like she really didn't? Miss Skye, it's not over yet. What? I said this trial isn't over yet. Huh, but I'm afraid it is over, boy. Not only this trial, but your career too. You purposely concealed this conclusive evidence. That, my friend, is a serious offense. I'm looking forward to pressing charges after the defendant is convicted. I'll have your badge, boy. What's the matter, cat got your tongue? Aren't you going to tell us how it feels? How it feels to be the one who single-handedly turned a poor little girl into a murderer? Before I do that, there's just one thing I have to clear up. Oh, and what's that? Who really killed Prosecutor Neil Marshall? What? Chief Gant, you are absolutely right. This piece of cloth proves who the real murderer is. Who killed Neil Marshall, you ask? It was Emma Skye, wasn't it? I'm afraid that's not possible. You see, this piece of cloth contains a critical contradiction. What? A contradiction? What is this fool babbling about? I'm talking about a contradiction, one that proves who the real killer is. I think it has to do with the fact that this is a square piece of cloth, and the piece of cloth that's cut out here is a fucking circle, oval, egg-shaped piece of shit looking thing. Mr. Wright, that piece of cloth, what could it possibly contradict? Chief Gant, your tyrannical reign ends here. Behold, the piece of evidence that contradicts this cloth. Dude, fuck if I know. Am I gonna present this? I might as well try. And what exactly is this supposed to be? This is the picture Miss Skye took. Take a good look at it. See when the piece of his vest was cut out? Yes. His shirt is showing underneath. It's hard to make out with all the blood on his vest though. Exactly my point. His chest is soaked with blood. That's only natural. His lungs no doubt were punctured. Blood poured out of his mouth. Oh, but that piece of cloth. Wait. There's no blood on it. Ah. Since Emma Skye's fingerprints are on this cloth, there's no doubt that she shoved the prosecutor aside. However, Miss Marshall was not impaled on the sword at that time. No, this is nonsense. Now then, Chief Gant, let me ask you something. Real quick, I'm going to save the game. I'll save it back here on number 1. Prosecutor Marshall was not impaled when he was shoved aside. He most likely hit his head on the ground and was knocked out. If so, then tell me, who could it have been? Who could have arrived at the scene before Miss Lana Skye, picked up the unconscious prosecutor, and impaled him on the armored sword? Then, to make it look like Emma was responsible for the prosecutor's death, said person proceeded to write her name on the jar with the victim's blood, a jar that they had broke on purpose to leave behind a clue, and make Lana believe her sister did it. Remember what you admitted only moments ago? That you personally cut out this bloodless piece of the victim's vest? Ironic, isn't it? Though the very act of creating insurance, you proved that you were the actual murderer. He became lightning again. It's finally all over. Objection. Heh, 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 heh. Ho, ho, ho. That was close, Righto. You almost had me. Sorry, but you'll have to do better than that. I refute your allegations. What do you mean you refute his allegations? You see, that piece of cloth is illegal evidence. Order. What nonsense is this? Illegal evidence cannot be used to convict a suspect. Remember, Udgy? I'm gonna save the game again. Earlier, Righto here concealed that piece of cloth. So then, what's your excuse, Righto? You do have some conclusive evidence, don't you? Your Honor, I don't have any evidence I can present at this point in time. Well, that's true. The defense did refuse to present evidence. At that moment, that piece of cloth ceased to be legal evidence. But that's not fair. Ooh. Did you actually think you could best me in court? It looks like the last laugh's on you, son. But there's Rule 2. Rule 2 of evidence law. I'm afraid Mr. Gant's claim is legally correct. Well, Mr. Edgeworth, true. Illegal evidence cannot be used to convict a person, assuming, of course, that the evidence is indeed illegal. Well, Mr. Wright? It seems at last the time for me to reveal my plan has finally arrived. Mr. Wright, do you admit it, that you purposely and illegally concealed this piece of cloth? I did not. I admit I refused to present it at one point. Aha! So the evidence is illegal. No, it isn't, Mr. Gant. Huh? It's not that I didn't present evidence then, it's that I couldn't. What do you mean you couldn't? There are certain proceedings involved with presenting evidence. No, Udgy, don't listen to his lies. He's nothing but a coward. You can't really believe... There is only one issue left to be resolved in this trial. Is this evidence legal or not? Very well, let us settle this once and for all. Earlier, you refused to present evidence. If you can prove your conduct was not in violation of the law, then do so. I guess I probably present this. This is my proof, Your Honor. Evidence law. What's this? I've done my homework too, Chief. Indeed, Emma Skye's fingerprints were on this piece of cloth. However, at that point in time, this was merely a piece of cloth, nothing more. What? You see, it's written right here in this book, the second rule of evidence law. Rule number 1, no evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department. I found this piece of evidence myself inside your safe. It goes without saying, I did not have approval from the police department. Rule 2, unregistered evidence presented must be relevant to the case on trial. And here's the crux of the matter. You see, at the time it was impossible for me to prove the relevance between the cloth and the SL9 incident. What? What kind of nonsense is this? You want relevancy? Just take one look at this picture and... Sorry, but can you recall when was that picture presented? That was shown only a few moments ago. He's right. At the beginning of today's trial, that piece of cloth was still meaningless. The person who gave it value as evidence was you, Damon Gant. You yourself confessed to a certain truth. Let me verify this once more. On the day of the crime, you personally cut out this piece of the victim's vest. Oh, yes. No. It was then that you approved this cloth as conclusive evidence. Yes, you, the chief of police, personally approved this cloth. The only person who could have cut this from the victim's vest is the one who stood before Prosecutor Marshall in his final moments. In other words, the real murderer. And there's only one person who that could be. Damon Gant. The killer was you. And he's really going wild with the clapping and the laughing. I knew I should have gotten rid of him. That good-for-nothing scum! For 2 years, he's been snooping around the department, trying to get something on me. Crimes are being committed every day, yet he insisted on hounding me. Well, your crime wasn't exactly petty. He wanted to reinvestigate the case. He recruited Angel Starr, then convinced Bruce Goodman. Detective Goodman. Yeah, that's right. If the evidence is transferred, I'll lose my only chance to find out the truth. Please, you've got to help me. Goodman turned him down as he ought to. Still, Jake Marshall didn't know when to quit. He stole Goodman ID's card and tried to fake the evidence, or take the evidence. Goodman came to me that day. He wanted to file a lost item report. I went with him to the evidence room. Then all of a sudden, he decided to speak out. What are you talking about, Goodman? Can you please reopen the investigation, Chief? We can't transfer the evidence out. There are too many questions left unanswered. He opened his evidence locker, and as he was taking out the evidence out, he said, "It's not too late. I'm gonna hand all this over to Marshall." Well, to be honest, I was a bit taken aback by his words. I had a bad feeling when he came to see me, but I never thought he'd bring a Bessel 9. That's when I saw it, that accursed knife. I couldn't just pull it out. Doing so would have only led to more blood, making it near impossible to hide your crime. Even so, the blood was just pouring out. I didn't know who might stumble in, so I hurried to wipe it up. I was worrying so much about the floor, I didn't realize my fatal mistake. The bloody handprint on Detective Gumshoe's locker. I used to be known as the crime computer, but everyone has to start somewhere, I guess. I was too nervous. I had no business doing any of it. Then you put the body in my car. I'm sorry, I couldn't think of any other way to move the body. I broke your trunk, but what's the big deal? You make a lot more than us detectives ever will. Leaving the prosecution's car aside, how could you get Miss Guy involved in all of this? Well, she had as much to lose as I did if the truth came out. So you took the evidence from Detective Goodman's locker. I felt bad for having to do it. I also didn't have the time to pick and choose what to take. So, you left the jar, fragments, and the glove. Yeah, it looks like I was better off being an investigator of crimes than a committer. They all did their best to get in my way. I've got to hand it to them. They do their jobs well, much to my dismay. Fake evidence doesn't hold up very well upon close examination. You must have known that. Tell me, Worthy, why do you stand in court? Me? You despise criminals. I can feel it. You and me were the same. One day you'll understand. Oh, believe me, you will. You're just one man. You'll see what it really takes to bring them down once you try to go it alone. Well, looks like it's time to say goodbye. Oh, Udgy, what? Looks like we're about to cancel that lunch date. Sorry, old friend. I'm sorry too, Damon Gant. I knew you as you used to be, long ago. You were once a fine investigator, an example to others on the force. I'm sorry to learn that you are no longer that person. Those days are gone now, Udgy. Thanks for all the memories, though. Don't worry, you'll be fine. Now you have Wright here. And Worthy. With these two around, you can't go wrong. In fact, I can hear them already. The melodious sounds of a new beginning. There are two things I want you to understand. Yes? First, your sister never hurt anyone. Second, Damon Gant betrayed you from the beginning. You see, Miss Sky, you no longer have any reason to keep silent. You're right. When this trial is over, I'll tell everything. All that I've done these past 2 years. For the time I had Gant help me forge evidence up until today. So, it seems all the questions raised in this trial have been answered. I'm sorry, Miss Sky. I couldn't get you out of all your trouble. My. What high standards you have for a rookie. I can see why Mia thought so highly of you. Who knows? A few years from now, you might just make it to the top. I owe you my thanks, Mr. Wright. Miss Guy, and to you too, Mr. Edgeworth. You've suffered every bit of much as I have over these past few years. Believe me, I know how much of an ordeal it's been for you. It was nothing. Liar. I was worried the pressure might break you, and yet you rose above it all and guided Mr. Wright to victory. You've done well, Mr. Edgeworth. Stop it. I only did my job. In light of this case, it seems a good self-examining is in order for all of us. Miss Guy, yes, Your Honor, you are innocent of murder. However, Although the chief blackmailed you, the fact is you still acted as his accomplice. A trial will be scheduled for these crimes at a later date. Yes, I understand, Your Honor. Is there something amusing about all this? Why are you smiling? It's been a long time, Your Honor. A long time since I felt free of these heavy chains. Well, this trial has gone on far too long already. Regarding the charge of murder, this court finds the defendant, Miss Lana Skye... Schmott Schmilty. Gumshoe, throw the confetti. That is all. This court is adjourned. The long last is finally over. Emma. Why the long face? I'm sorry your sister didn't get completely off the hook, but at least she wasn't convicted for a murder she didn't commit. No, that's not it. Just now, after the trial ended. I can see why Mia Fey thought so highly of you. I owe you my thanks, Mr. Wright. And to you too, Mr. Edgeworth. You've suffered every bit as much as I have over these past few days. You've done well. You know, I did my best too. Yeah. Whatever. Hold on, I need to fix this real quick. Oh, it's still not fixed. Hold on, we'll get this. We'll get this done. Alright, fine, we'll finish this and I'll fix it. But Lana didn't say a single word to me. Hope I'm not interrupting anything, pals. Oh. Guess I am. I'll come back later. Gumshoe, you can come back. Wait, Detective Gumshoe, what is it? You're doing this on purpose, aren't you? Making Detective run all around while on duty. And to talk it off, you call me here. I've seen happier people at funerals. This has literally happened 3 times. Hey, lighten up, pals. I'm only kidding. Oh, are you here because of my sister again? Nope, not this time. I came today because of you, pal. Me? That's right. I thought you'd like to see someone. Lana. Should you be doing this? She's still under arrest, you know. Well, I won't tell if you won't. Emma, I owe you an apology. It's okay, Sith? Sith. Don't worry about it. That day 2 years ago. Was the first time in my life I ever panicked. It was all I could do to keep myself from screaming. All I could think about was keeping you from getting wrapped up in that mess. What about the 2 security guards behind you? We don't talk about them. Sis, I asked Aunt to help me cover up the truth. I thought I was doing it for your sake. But now, I realize I was wrong. I changed after that day. I had to. It was the only way I could make it through the past 2 years. I knew how much I was hurting you by distancing myself, but I couldn't bring myself to tell you what I did. I was scared. Scared that you'd look at me with those eyes of yours. I was scared of how you'd react if you knew. But sis, you were only doing it for me. No? Huh? I turned my back on you that day, in hiding what I believed to be the truth. I was deceiving you. Sis, I'm such a fool. It took me all this time to realize it. Emma, I'm so sorry. But sis, you don't have to apologize. I'm happy now. You're happy? Of course. You know, sis, I always knew that one day you'd come back, and now you have. Oh, Emma. No one can change the past. The only thing we could do is strive to make up for our mistakes. Why must we make up for our mistakes, you ask? Because in so doing, we can find the way back to our rightful path. And it is from there that we can move on toward a brighter future. At least that's what I felt watching the 2 sisters make up. Mr. Wright, Mr. Gumshoe, me? Thank you both for all that you've done. I'm sure we'll meet again someday. Isn't that right, Edgeworth? Edgeworth, stop hiding and come over here. Hey, what's up, dude? Where was he hiding? I just came to say congratulations. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Edgeworth. Right. Well, I'll be going now. Mr. Edgeworth, I hope you don't blame yourself for what happened. We were the ones who acted corruptly, not you. It's too late for me. No matter what anyone may say, I realize today that I can't correct my mistakes, Mr. Edgeworth. Not only that, but I don't even trust myself anymore. Chief Gant was right. You despise criminals. I can feel it. You and me, we're the same. One day you'll understand. Oh, believe me, you will. You're just one man. You'll see what it really takes to bring them down once you try to go it alone. I do despise criminals. I plan to dedicate my entire life to fighting them. But in order to fight crime on my own, I need a weapon. It's scary, but I've known that to be true for quite some time now. But Edgeworth, who knows? Given enough time, I might have tried to pull something like Chief Gant did. That thought terrifies me. That's why I can't continue on as a prosecutor. Edgeworth, don't you understand? Damon Gant and your mentor, Manfred von Karma, were both the best of the best when it came to fighting crime. The both of them happened to be murderers, but they both made the same mistake. You said in order to fight crime on my own, I need a weapon. Why now, ads? That might be true, but think back to today's trial. You weren't alone. You were working together with Mr. Wright, and because of that partnership, you were able to present evidence that otherwise would have gone undiscovered. Isn't that right, Mr. Wright? Huh? What? Oh, yeah. What is this, a pop quiz? Come on, Mr. Wright, show him what Lana's talking about. Evidence, huh? Something that neither Edgeworth nor I would have been able to find on our own. What, this evidence? Fuck it, dude, I'm looking it up. I'm at the end of the game. What is this? It's not even here. It's not even in the walkthrough. This evidence, it doesn't exist. What the fuck? Okay. I don't know. Fucking this. That's the picture I drew. Our counterattack began with this. You had one half of the evidence list and I had the other. Apart, we wouldn't have been able to completely restore Emma's picture. That didn't just happen by chance, Mr. Edgeworth. It's fine for me to go. Or it's time for me to go. Mr. Edgeworth, if you'll excuse me, there are still some loose ends that need wrapping up. Take care, Chief Prosecutor. Edgeworth, what will you do now? Well, whatever you do, just remember, you can let what happened kill the prosecutor in you, or you can let it help you grow. Man, that was a sentence. In the end, it's up to you. I know. It seems I owe you my thanks too, right? But what I face now is my problem. Edgeworth, I'll be waiting for you in court. Farewell. I'd better be going too. Okay, but I'll be by to visit soon. It seems we both have a lot to learn and catching up to do. Here, this is a little something for you. Scientific investigation. It's the first book I ever bought. Study it well. Thanks, sis. I will. And so another case came to a close. As for the sisters, I have faith. Faith that their lives have only just begun. And as for me, I think it's time I started on a new journey of my own. Okay, this is weird. Larry, Mia, Maya, Edgeworth in the middle for some reason. A journey to rediscover myself. Well, oh, what's up, dude? Don't go tracking off just yet, pal. Yeah, what do you need? Huh? What is it, detective? There's just a little matter to be resolved about the chief prosecutor. You see that she isn't supposed to be out of jail like this, but I thought you said it was okay. Yeah, well, it may be okay with me, but the folks at the prison are a different story. Huh? Basically, I had to bribe a guard in order to sneak her out for 30 minutes. Believe me, it wasn't cheap either. Huh? Way to go, detective. I didn't know you had a wild side. Yeah, well, haha, you see, Mr. Wright here's the one who'll be footing the bill. Huh? Huh? What, you think I get afforded with my salary? You gotta be kidding me, pal. Huh? 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 Thank you, Mr. Wright. You're the best. Why is it? I suddenly feel like I want to scream. Hey, I got an idea. Why don't we all go pay it off together? Yeah, that's a great idea. Come on, guys. Let's go. All right. Now, some more credits that I can't skip. Trust me, I'm trying right now. I am pushing all the buttons. Okay, I arranged for a friend of mine in Europe to take care of him. I hope she'll be pleased to study under a top coroner. Oh, okay. As for me, this affair has pretty much ended my days at the prosecutor's office. Still, I'll manage to find my way back to the field somehow. Then I'll be able to investigate crimes together with Emma. How about you give him your student debt? All right, well, it's the credits part 2. Yeah, I know. Let's just watch this. Let's watch this for a moment. I can't skip it anyways. Yikes, I thought I was a goner for a moment there. In the end, though, they overlooked my unauthorized investigation of the chief's office. If we penalize you anymore, it'd be worse than firing you. Yep, that's what they said. Oh. It just goes to show you can't shake me off that easily. Man, they really took their sweet time with this, didn't they? Hey, what's up, Meekins? My new mission is to guard the main entrance to take care of Billy. Billy? Can you bet if you use your megaphone in the credits? My partner's keeping an eye on the entrance for me today. I'll show them, though. Someday I'm gonna make detective. Motherfuck! I can't escape it. I cannot escape the megaphone. It follows me wherever I go. I hate the noise of the megaphone. Oh, what's up, Blue Badger? Are we gonna watch you dance? Oh, yeah. No. All right. So, what have I missed in the credits? Can I skip them yet? Nope. Yeah, that was his name, Mr. Left. Can we sue the judge? What are we gonna sue him for? Blue Badger fell over and died. The marshal talked a bit. And the woman talked, I don't know. Oh, okay. So the Blue Badger finally ran out of battery, eh? Took long enough. Hey, what's up, dude? I somehow managed to get my headphone wire stuck in the slinky. I don't know how I did this. What did I do to do this? What? How is it like this? What the? Why is it getting worse? Hold on. This is what happens when I fidget. Hold on. I just unplugged the whole thing. It's just hold. All right, it's good. All right, now I'll plug it back in. The sound might have stopped for a moment because my my audio capture changed. Don't worry about it. All right, that never happened. This is good. That's what happens when you fidget too much. All right, why do I have to open this? Hold on. Oh, well, that's a nice picture. I fidget a lot once a pen squirted ink everywhere. It was great. Yeah, I fidget with this pen mainly, my Slinky, and this knife. Well, it's a, you know, it's got one of these things. It's also got a knife. But you know, there's like the top 3 things I fidget with, and then I drop them on the floor, and then I'm like, oh man, who could have guessed the thing I was fidgeting with? I just draw. Show the Doug knife? I can show the Doug knife. You might wonder who Doug is. Doug is me. Doug. All right, well, if I press continue, it just brings me here. It didn't give me a chance to save, so here we go. The trial is finally over. Yes, it is. Now it's time to start Justice for All. Am I going to do that today, though? No, I will not. This Trials and Tribulations is the last one. Now do a speed run of the game? Oh yeah, let me start over from the beginning of Ace Attorney. I probably, I'll start the next one at a later date. It won't be now. I need to look at a calendar really quick. Calendar. Because not next week. No, it is this week. It's the 29th. The 29th of August is when the new season begins for Eternal Return. Good old Season 5. Should be, I'm pretty sure it's the 29th anyways. Let's see. I think if I click on this, I'll be able to see it. Maybe not. But there's going to be a new season for Eternal Return, so I'll probably stream that. Time to carry Brandon's sorry ass? Dude, who said I was playing with Brandon? That ain't happening. Let me do this. But, yeah. Finally finished it.